the Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, they have agencies set up to look at this, particularly the Protection Council agency. But then the banks and financial institutions fall under the CBN, and it is important that they do not let go. When I emphasize do not let go, they must stay at top of the fact that serious complaints must be resolved within a specified period of time. And where that is not done, appropriate sanctions should be applied. Okay. I also will need to dwell a little bit more on the technology and customer service role of today. You see, technology, like we said of the bill itself, consists of two sides of the coin. As much as we look at the positive sides of technology in driving financial services and products, we must also begin to be wary of the limitations and the challenges, particularly in an environment like ours that has infrastructural challenges. So, not too much of optimism to be expressed as we are as of today. But we believe as we progress into the reform in the economy, we're likely to begin to see better and more secured applications of the technology in all forms. So, generally, I would just position that we have been lately lucky to have this bill highlighted. It's been there to some extent, but like I have taken this to the Bill of Rights in America, when you push out a commitment like this, even when it is not backed by law, Michelle, you must ensure that it is effectively implemented. And that is why we keep going back to the CBN, who has initiated this bill at this point in time, to ensure that all stakeholders need to, and then we get the best out of it. Just in the interest of all of us, at one or the other, you will become a bank customer. And so there is no way that nobody can run away from it. Either you are in practice now or outside of the practice, or whether you are operating as a player, as you will need to understand the fact that it is in the interest of individuals and generally in the interest of the economy for this bill to succeed. And that is why some of us are clamoring for the fact that the CBN should not let go, should push further and ensure appropriate delivery.
Thank you for your take. Just as you said, we are hoping for a proper implementation of this bill. Because of the time, Mr. Moshood Isamotu, now, what more should the regulatory authority do to standardize and regularize banking services in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. You know, naturally, this is a business of competition. Bank is a business of competition. So there's a minimum level of standard that the banks should operate. For example, the central bank now being a regulatory authority has come up with a list of charges that bank must charge per product. For example, if you withdraw ATM from offsite ATM machine, that's a charge that must appropriate. So that one, irrespective of bank, is a standard thing. If you obtain a loan, for this brand of loan, this is the number of charges you must require. If you have issues with your bank, the complaint will be resolved within the frame of time, which means there are some level of standardized rates, standardized time that issues will be resolved. They are already in existence. The only thing is that if you apply for a customer a bespoke product, you may pay by different rates. But this is that whatever generic products that are offered, the CB already has a guideline that guides such product. It is you now as a bank customer that need to find out, or is part of your duty to seek this information. But primarily your own bank is supposed to give you. But if you think you have a doubt, you can actually seek the redress. I mean, get into the escalate it. You want to know what the CBN rates are in respect of this product, and then you can take from there. And if your bank is not helping you, you can start to central bank. That's what it means. Understand? Of course, the FCPC is there, but the FCPC offer generic coverage to all customers, whether it be network, whether it be telecom customer, bank customer, other shades of customers. That's what FCPC does. But for the fact that for that sector where you are seeking a redress, where you have issue with, you go to a specific regulator for that business. That's what it is. But by and large, the CBN has a standardized rates and standardized practice. And before, apart from the manual of procedure which every bank operates in, the CBN regulation take precedence above all this.
What is your assessment of the role of technology in customer service protection and safety?
Now, the technology have been doing a lot. For example, right now, if you input your age, if you put a password that probably is not correct, the technology will bounce you back. So which means you cannot force yourself into it. And at times when you log in a detail, after 2 or 3 times, you are bad. Go and visit your bank to first registration. That is a safety that have been put up on it. Am I correct? And there's even a limit. You can put a limit on your bank account that there's a limit to which can be taken out of your bank for this period. Understand now? Which means technology has put a caveat on it. So if somebody wants to break in, technology will not allow you to break in. So technology is doing a lot. But as I tell you, as you are doing that, some bad guys are equally doing things to break into. So that's why bank continuously doing upgrading their system and equally educating the bank customer what they need to do. Understand? And if that is why, as simple as SMS, if you receive an alert from your bank and that is not yours, I mean you didn't initiate it, before you call us so that the person won't go for the next one, you can block your machine, your ATM. You can block your account from your phone.
The phone.
So that you don't need to go to the bank. You can then go to the bank and complain. But before then, by the time you receive the first alert for debit not initiated by you now, technology has put, you can stop that thing. Understand? And then at times, if you put in as a clause in your bank, please, any money below the social amount, call me for confirmation. These are the things that took in place. So, of course, there is going to be infrastructure left and right, but there are mechanisms equally that have been put in place. And the things are evolving. To this technology, what it was 10 years ago is not the same thing right now. So as the things are evolving, there's going to be more responsibilities, there's going to be more duties, there's more duty of care is more on the bank because the customers are king, whatever it is. So that is very, very important. So responsibilities on the part of the regulator, on the part of the operator, and on the part of the customers as well.
Thank you, Mr. Amosho Disamotu. Over to you now, Dr. Reddy. Let's have your parting shot, and as well, what is your personal assessment of bank customer service in Nigeria?
Okay, let me just be very factual. I will take it from the customer service assessment. The truth of the matter is that some of us did the research that is comparative in nature. For instance, my thesis is essentially on banks branch management between a period of 1996, just before the ACAM was formed, and then 10 years after when ACAM had taken root. And so the research conclusively indicated that bank services have improved greatly, and it was essentially attributed to the impact of ICT generally. So we need to begin to talk about information communication technology, not to talk of technology alone. And so the parting shot here is this: that going forward with better innovations and applications of ICT, more tactics and modems and mechanisms, we will begin to see better results in five, particularly in the Nigerian context. I'm not equating with benchmarking with one or with any part of the world, but honestly, the Nigerian banks have come of a great positive impact. There is nobody can take that away recently. Yes. Now, so my parting shot is simply that consistently, what we lack in terms of connecting the next um, amongst stakeholders in the banking industry is the need to apply what some of us have said you call ARER, adequacy, relevancy, and efficiency of usage of policies. There's always a disconnect. That is the major issue. Now we're talking about Bill of Rights today. How consistent are we over time? How efficient are we in ensuring that we don't let lose of the nitty-gritty of the game? And how relevant are they with time? We need to begin to address all this and ensure that going forward we are at par with what the world is dictating. Sometimes we spoke about financial inclusion. It will surprise you that as of today, Nigeria is still far below some African countries in terms of elsewhere it has been attained over 100%. We are still struggling to attain 90%. We are like 74% down, and that is not too good. So it means that we have a lot to catch up to make. So we need to be able to connect the dots and link the various gaps. Like I said, it is among the triple of the stakeholders, the consumers, the customers, the operators, the regulators. And with that, I'm quite sure that we'll do more than what we are doing today.
We are hopeful. Thank you so much, Dr. Reddy Ademosu, for your time and contribution on the program. Please do well to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. And to my brother, Moshood, nice to see you all over again. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Thank you very much.
All right, have a beautiful and pleasant day, Dr. Reddy. Now, Mr. Moshood, let's have your parting shot as well.
The banking is a serious business. If you don't get right in the banking industry, you may not get it back in the rest of the sectors of the economy. So, which means customers is, and when you place that at with the customers as king, all the stakeholders involved, especially the regulatory authority, the banking operators, the bankers, they need to do more, ensuring that they get it right, because that is only when they can be able to deliver their role in growing the economy. Because when the confidence is not there, their image will be eroded, and the economy, their impact in the overall economy will be affected. Because if you don't get it right in the banking sector, you can be sure many things will go astray in the economy. So which means the central banking operators need to up their games, while customers also need to know their duties as well in their interactions with their financial institutions. That's what I have to say.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Moshood Samotun. He's a public analyst and a commentator. Thank you so much for coming on the program. We appreciate your contribution, your time, and your quota. I'm very sure all these things you've said, if all measures are being put in place, very sure the banking industry will be up to task, and there will not be issue for consumers or customers to be complaining about so many the satisfactions activities that has to do with the banking industry. Thank you so much. Now we have to round things up on perspective today. We appreciate you for being there, and most especially you as a consumer. You have a duty obligation to the bank. It's vice versa. As the bank has obligations to you as a consumer, you yourself, you have some things to do, necessary steps to take to the bank as well. Thank you so much. And for the bill, because a lot of consumers there have been a lot of reactions, people are misquoting it, that what bill, it's something that has been existing for a very long time. Just I'm using the word Mr. Moshood used earlier on when he started the program. He said they're just adding flavor to it. So they're just adding flavor to it. Thank you so much for being there. Another beautiful edition of Perspective. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Irea Yomikuleke. Stay with us for the rest of the day.
I bring to birth this unique and exciting platform. So it's a digital telecast, and our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The world of consumers is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria, all right? So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you. We build it in such a way that we have connection to almost all the organizations, and it's been working. We've resolved several complaints for people without having to charge them any penny, because the idea is not to charge. So what we have done with ConsumerHallaTV is to take it to the next level. So we hope to change the narrative. We want to give the right direction. Nigeria has the largest consumer market in the world, with a population of over 220 million people. Why should we be the one that is suffering the most? Everywhere you turn to, it's as though Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. You're traveling, you buy a ticket. For whatever reason, an airline will wake up middle of the night, delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation.
Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on ConsumerHallaTV. I'm Kike Lemo Ajibola. Let's start the news story with the Northeast Governors Forum as it raises an alarm over a potential food shortage in 2026, citing the rising cost of agricultural imports as a major threat. In a communique issued after its WEFT meeting on Saturday during the previous week, the forum, chaired by Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, urged the federal government and the Northeast Development Commission to increase subsidies for farmers and intensify preparations for dry season farming to avert the looming crisis. The governors acknowledged progress in combating insurgency, but noted that the region still faces humanitarian and infrastructural challenges, including damaged bridges and vulnerable communities along flood plains. Meanwhile, the called for proactive effective flood mitigation measures and heightened awareness among residents on energy, the forum asked its community to develop a regional master plan, highlighting solar power as a cost-effective solution to meet the sub-region's energy needs. The NEGF also announced plans to host the Northeast Trade Fair in Maiduguri, Borno State in December 2025 to boost trade and economic recovery across the 6 states: Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe. Now over to labor matters. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the federal government have resolved a dispute over workers' pension funds following a meeting with the National Pension Commission on the 29th of August 2025. The meeting, led by PENCOM Director General Omolola Oloworaron, marked the DG's first official interaction with the NLC since assuming office in July of 2024. The union said in a statement shared to journalists on Sunday, the engagement followed weeks of escalating pressure from the country's biggest labor organization. And however, on August 13, 2025, the NLC Central Working Committee issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government demanding the immediate constitution of the PENCOM governing board. The ANIC also warned that failure to meet these demands would trigger a nationwide strike. The acting director of corporate communications, Ibrahim Buwai, said the pension regulator rejected the claims of missing funds and assured that workers' pensions were safe and secure. He also said that the appointment of the PENCOM board is a federal government prerogative. Let's move to another report about 3 Nigerian small and medium enterprises as they received both funding and financial advisory services from the United Nations Development Program and Onyx Investment to unlock a blend of $50 million in capital finance from the public and private sectors. This was disclosed at the closing of the UNDP Nigeria SDG Investment Forum on Saturday in Abuja. Muhammad Yadudu, the senior assistant to the executive vice chairman of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, in an interview with journalists, said the federal government in less than 2 years rolled out an initiative to provide funding for entrepreneurs and boost the country's economy. And according to him, the government has the right policies, but there are still gaps in terms of framework and implementation. Let's quickly travel down to the eastern part of Nigeria, where the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Umba, has flagged off a new round of free fertilizer and agro-input distributions to about 60,000 farmers across the state. A statement from the state government on Sunday stated that the event, attended by thousands of farmers and stakeholders at Okpara Square, was described as another bold step towards achieving food security, poverty eradication, rural prosperity, and transforming farming into a profitable venture in the state. Speaking during the event, the governor will record that his administration distributed 12,000 bags of fertilizers alongside power tillers, seedlings, cassava stems, and herbicides at no cost to farmers in 2024. Added that the intervention had led to bumper harvest and reduced food prices across the state. Governor Peter Umba, while stating the importance of farming, also announced that 200 acres farm estates were being established in each of the state's 260 political wards, equipped with irrigation systems, warehouses, tractor sheds, and power supply. The governor also disclosed that 102 tractors had already been delivered and there is another 98 on the way, while 800 more would soon be assembled in no time. Moving away from that, now the Nigerian Communications Commission has revealed that Nigerians consumed a record of 1.1 million terabytes of data in July of 2025. the highest monthly usage ever recorded. The surge is driven by the shift to higher generation networks, with 4G adoption rising to 50.85% and 5G connections reaching 3.17%, while 3G usage continues to fall. The milestone comes just 2 months after Nigeria first crossed the 1 billion terabyte mark in May. Despite the record consumption, total internet subscription declined to 138.7 million from 141.1 million in June, following a 50% price increase by telecom operators. Airtel led the losses, shedding 2.4 million users, while MTN, Globalcom, and Now Mobile also recorded declines. Active mobile subscriptions fell to 169.1 million, reducing Nigeria's teledensity to 78.11%. Experts warn that the data boom is putting pressure on existing infrastructure, prompting operators to accelerate 5G rollout and network expansion. Following the update, Airtel Nigeria CEO Dinesh Balsin confirmed heavy investment were on the way to meet rising demand, particularly in urban centers like Lagos. Now to the federal government, where the federal government has completed a comprehensive review of Nigeria's national curriculum for primary, secondary, and technical schools, aiming to reduce content overload, enhance learning outcomes, and equip students with skills relevant to the global economy. Announcing the update, Minister of State for Education, Professor Suweiba, said that this review was conducted in collaboration with key agencies, including the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, Universal Basic Education Commission, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, and the National Board for Technical Education. The revised framework adjusted the number of subjects for different levels. Primary 1 to 3 students will take 9 to 10 subjects. Primary 4 to 6 would take 10 to 12, junior secondary school 12 to 14, senior secondary school 8 to 9, and technical school students 9 to 11 subjects. Ahmed emphasized that the changes are designed to allow deeper learning and more practical education, creating a future-ready system for Nigerian learners. The ministry confirmed that the curriculum will be implemented nationwide under close monitoring to ensure smooth adoption in schools. Stakeholders involved in the review were commended for their teamwork in producing a stronger modern curriculum. Moreover, despite these reforms, the Nigeria Union of Teachers cautioned that funding remains a major issue, warning that without adequate investment in infrastructure, learning materials, and teacher support, structural changes alone may not resolve challenges in the education sector. And that's a very beautiful story right there. Still on federal government matter, another news story. The federal government is now saying many federal workers are unable to access its housing loan schemes because they have mortgaged their salaries through multiple loans from commercial lending agencies. The executive secretary of the federal government staff housing loans board, Ajia Ahmed, explained that the heavy loan deduction from workers' salaries make them ineligible for housing loans. She disclosed this at a permanent secretary's quarterly forum with union leaders organized by the Service Welfare Office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Recently, Ajia Ahmed said the situation was worrisome because the board had increased its loan ceiling to 20 million naira for senior workers to benefit, adding that the government also created a special scheme for officers on grade levels 8 to 14. She explained further that the board was partnering with mortgage institutions and private developers to make housing more affordable for civil servants. Now, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria's decision to build a makeshift terminal may stall the planned refurbishment of Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 1, valued at 712 billion naira, by another 3 months. Remember, it was gathered that FAN announced to the airline operators of Nigeria that the temporary terminal would be built to accommodate airline front desk officers, airport workers, and passengers, while the old terminal is being refurbished. A source previewed to the meeting between FAN and AON, who pleaded anonymity due to the lack of authorization to speak on the matter, said what was agreed was that they are going to build a temporary structure somewhere around the new terminal, and airlines will not stop working from the old terminal until the temporary structure is ready, and then they will now be moved to the makeshift structure. The source added that the building of the temporary structure will take 3 months, saying it will be then that the tearing down or pulling down of the old terminal can begin. Now, confirming that arrangement, things were being put in place to provide a temporary station for airport users. In a text message, the spokesperson of FAN, Ora Obiageli, said, "We're putting arrangements in place to ensure we provide a temporary station for all airport users. Work commences once all plans are in place." Now bringing you the latest news in the world of bilateral relations. Married, the Nigerian Postal Service has announced that the United States government has imposed a mandatory custom duty of $80, about 123,000 naira, on all shipments entering the U.S. from Nigeria and other countries. This was in a statement on Friday, where Post explained that the policy follows President Donald Trump's executive order suspending duty-free de minimis treatment for all nations under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The agency thereby clarified that the new charge applies to all postal items except letters and documents, and must be prepared in naira at the point of acceptance in Nigeria. NIPOST also said all affected shipments would undergo additional customs check upon arrival in the U.S. The decision comes just days after Trump raised tariffs on Nigeria and other countries, a move the Nigerian government has vowed to counter. And lastly, before we go, the TECA Eat Action Wave Coalition has pledged $1.1 million to support 12 early-stage climate ventures. The coalition, in a statement, noted that it was launched in Nigeria to tackle the growing threat from extreme heat. Meanwhile, the early stage finance director at FSD Africa, Juliet Monroe, noted that the extreme heat represented the most overlooked consequences of climate change affecting Africa today. The statement said it is not only a public health emergency, but also a threat to livelihoods, productivity, and long-term economic resilience. Through this initiative, we are making a strategic investment in African-led innovation, supporting scalable context-specific solutions that deliver real impact where it's needed most. The statement further revealed that Thor would support 12 early-stage ventures, developing market-driven early warning tools, innovative financial instruments such as parametric heat insurance, emergency-centric finance tech, and ecosystem enablers and builders, tools and services that help individuals and small businesses operate more safely and efficiently in rising heat, preferably integrating early warning systems or fintech solutions. Thank you so much for joining us on the news this morning on ConsumerHallaTV, and please do well to stay connected for more news updates. I'm Kikelomo Ajibola.
Delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation, then while you're there, they can even wake up and say, oh, flight has been cancelled. So everybody carry their luggage and go home. Nothing happened. Of course, things are changing. We must commend government because government is beginning to wake up, but there's still a lot to be done. And we believe that we can help to make, those bring about those right changes. So we offer deliberately, part of what we do is that we also offer advocacy. All right, we're not just an advocacy organization, but we offer advocacy. We have a legal team. We have lawyers that are registered on our platform. All right, that can also take up cases. Okay, so and we've taken up many cases like that, and won those cases. So Consumer Hala is a platform to help consumers to. We're not fighting brands, but rather we say we're bringing about an amicable, resolution of conflict, such that it will be beneficial to the consumers and also be beneficial to the brand. I remember the word of Jeff Bezos. Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He said that the most important single thing, all right, for an organization is to focus obsessively, use the word obsessively, on the customer. We often say that customers is a king. They should sit at the top of the ladder. In our environment, customers are the ladder. A brand wakes up today, decide what product to produce. They wake up today, decide how much the consumer should pay. They wake up to decide everything for consumers. So consumers are just at the receiving end, and yet they are milking the consumers. There's no price regulation in this country, none. People just wake up and fix prices. Look at the power. Government wakes up, we change policy, we wake up and we get people to pay more. We think it's time for consumers to begin to speak out. In speaking out, in engaging, we can get the brand to begin to do what is right. And of course, I know that the consumers themselves need to be educated. So our role, our vision also is to ensure that we educate consumers, we bring awareness. A lot of Nigerian consumers don't even know about their rights. You buy a product from a supermarket. I've had this experience. You buy a product from a supermarket, all right? For whatever reason, you take that product back to your house, and maybe something went wrong somewhere. By the time you take that product back to the shop where you bought it from, and you say, Oga, this thing, you know what's going to tell you? Oga, na me make am. Na me make am, that's why I buy am. Meaning that there's nothing I can do to the product. So you lose the product, then you lose your money, because the money is not refunded. The product you can't use. Only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria. Let me give you another experience I had. In the course of this, because I went around, in doing this. I was in US, I was in UK, I was in South Africa, I was in Germany, just because of this, to just study the environment. I was in a friend's house in UK, in London, and then what happened? We were going to go out, and he was going to dress up. So he said, oh, to me, I was seated in his sitting room. So he said, oh, wait a minute, I picked up an iron, that's the pressing iron, 2 days ago or so from a store. Oh, let me try this, let me just try and use that to iron my shirt and we can go out. So I was seated, the TV was on, I was watching. While I watched him, he brought out the pressing board, spread it out, brought the iron out in my presence, plugged in the iron, and then as soon as he switched on the power button, we just had a spark. Boom! Ooh. The guy was raged. Then he goes, what just happened? So he said, no, these guys are in trouble. They're in soup. I was thinking, what are you going to do? You know, I was trying to compare that experience to what would have happened in Nigeria. In my presence there, he opened the pack. There was a card inside it. Inside that card was a call, number to call. And he called the shop or wherever he got the thing from. I was hearing the conversation that was going on. And all he said to them on the phone was, look, at, by the time he even called, clearly because they already, through the call, they could trace where he was calling from and who was calling. He said, yeah, I pick up this number, I pick up this iron yesterday, and guess what? I just plugged it to power, and then this thing just, stopped, didn't work. At the other hand, I could hear the voice, oh, we're so sorry. We're sorry about that. And they said, this is your address, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get you a replacement. All right. So my friend ended the call and dropped the. So I said, so what's going to happen? He said, don't worry yourself now. Shebi, we're here. They will bring a replacement. I said, they will bring a replacement. He said, yes. I said, they won't even try to check whether it was your fault, because it could have been your fault. Maybe you didn't do something well about the first. No, it can't be his fault now. Shebi, it's a brand new item that he bought. While we were still talking, in fact, I'm not even sure it was up to 30 minutes or so, we had a knock on the door. He himself said he must be the dispatch person. By the time he opened the door, it was a dispatch man that was on the other side. And then the dispatch man was at the door. Just watch this. Was at the door. I was seated in the sitting room. The guy was at the door to meet with the dispatch guy. The dispatch man that brought the replacement iron, I heard him say, we're so sorry. So I was so shocked. I mean, a dispatch man, this guy is a dispatch, so also apologize. I was so touched by that. Even a dispatch man was so trained, to tell the guy, we are so sorry. And guess what? He brought the replacement iron. By the time my guy opened the iron, it was a bigger size iron. So they replaced with a bigger size iron. The guy never asked for the one that went back. He didn't say, okay, where is the other one that we gave to you, so that he could take it back? No, he just bought a new one and gave it back. So I asked my friend, I said, can you interpret this to me? He said, here in London, if they didn't do this, they know the next thing I would do. So I'm just going to grab a lawyer, and I'm going to tell them they've destroyed something in my house. By the time I'm done, they will pay through their nose. Because the consumers are conscious of their rights. In Nigerian consumers, even those who are aware, won't even take the battle up. Everybody just go, what can we do now? Today they wake up and ban this. What can we do now? So we're going to change the narrative. We have to stand up. So the vision of ConsumerHallaTV is really to create an engagement platform that constantly mirrors the minds of consumers and provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria. Thus, we believe, will be forming part of that our overall vision, of creating a more caring world of consumers where businesses thrive. So I think that we'll make our impact. We ask you to join us on this journey. ConsumerHallaTV will drive engagement. It will also be there to help to promote brands that are doing what is right. So we're not out to criticize any brand. Rather, we have to complement what the brands are doing, because there is no organization that or a business that was set up to fail. Nobody set up a business to fail. So there are just gaps that need to be fixed. So together we can fix things, and together we believe that we will create the right story for consumers in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our Consumer Hala brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
The big screen at your fingertips, but with so many movie streaming platforms out there, which one truly delivers? I am Elizabeth Abefe, and I'm live here at Ikeja, Lagos. You're welcome to Consumer Voice on Consumer Hala TV, where consumers genuinely share with us their preference and tell us why. But today we are streaming the best, which ones reigns for users' experience and streaming quality. Let's go find out which platform wins.
Good morning.
What is your name?
My name is Manuel.
Okay, so do you watch movie?
Yeah,
Okay,
lots.
so which of the movie streaming platform do you use and why do you prefer it?
I mostly use Prime because they have lots of interesting and captivating movies.
So do you prefer your movie, when you're watching your movie on this particular app, do you like the ad free or the ones that shows ad? How is the advert like? How is the ad?
Advertisement on Prime is not really that much compared to that of Netflix. So that's why I more prefer Prime, because this ad popping up is very, very annoying. It can be really, very, really annoying.
So now talking about other platform, which other streaming platform have you used?
I've tried Crunchyroll, but Crunchyroll is mainly for animes. I've tried using YouTube and MovieBox.
Okay, you talked about Netflix too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your best movie or content you love watching on Prime?
Animes.
Okay, so now let me ask you, in one word, how do you enjoy watching movie? Okay, let me repeat the question. In one word, when you are watching movie, how do you feel?
Peace of mind.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning.
What is your name?
My name is Kayode Deborah.
Okay, so do you watch movie?
Yes, of course. Why not?
Okay, so which of the movie streaming platform do you use and why do you prefer it?
Netflix.
Why do you prefer Netflix?
We all know Netflix is so beautiful. The effect, the premium of the class of movie that is on there, international movie. As for me, I learned big English, like big grammar. As a matter of fact, yes, on Netflix. As a matter of fact, sometimes when I overheard all this grammar, then I go on Google and So I think it's educative, communicating, and socialite.
So have you tried other movie streaming platform before?
Yes, of course.
Like?
YouTube. YouTube is one of the best. It has been best in Africa.
Okay, so now you're trying to tell me you make use of YouTube and also Netflix.
Definitely.
So is there a reason why you multitask both? You use both?
Yes. Netflix, you have to pay. You have to pay to watch. On YouTube, it's free. And on YouTube, we have our cultural movies. That's the Yoruba Nollywood. And if our epic movies is all on YouTube, and you're on YouTube, you can learn on YouTube. There's classes on YouTube. There's a lot of things, cooking class. So YouTube is so good for me. I'm okay with YouTube and Netflix.
What's that best program you stream on Netflix?
For me, any trending movie I'm good to go. Any trending movie, either international, American movie, or at least we have to celebrate our own actress. Yeah, so
Okay. So a lot of people talk about ad on Netflix. Do you experience that too on Netflix?
No,
So what other benefits will you want Netflix to improve on? What's the future? What's the other future on other platform that is not on Netflix and you want them to improve on?
we already know Netflix is in this part of aspect whereby it's a no-go area when you don't have your subscription, you don't have your data, you can't watch any movie on Netflix. And on YouTube is free, which is but for me, what I think is for Netflix, they should give us I don't know. But me, I'm okay with any service they render. I'm just good with any service they render. I'm okay with it. So Netflix is good, YouTube is good, either free or you buying data. You already know that, okay, if I'm going to YouTube, I'm watching anything movie or anything free or music. On Netflix, you have to. So I don't know, you just have to choose your choice.
So how expensive is Netflix?
For me, I have to be sincere, it's so expensive. But there's this thing I do with my friends. We come together, pay the subscription, then we connected together. So I think it's better if people can actually do that too as well.
So in one word, how does movie make you feel?
Right now I'm going through a lot. Music has been my best friend. At this moment, like even this morning, music has been like movie, yeah. It has been my best friend for now. Sometimes I get emotional when I watch some movies. Sometimes I feel like I want to be part of that movie, like, reality of it. Yes, I can relate. So I'm good. It's my best friend for now. I'm always with movie anytime. But the most movie I like most on Netflix, let me tell you.
Tell me, gist me.
Lulu, all this yes, Chinese food, the way they used to be use one hand to carry one car. I love the movie. I'm always like, anytime you see me on Netflix, even my neighbors, they know I'm always there. I want to watch how they carry.
Hope you are learning Chinese language.
Because our government said we should learn.
Okay.
We should learn how to fight. So
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
What is your name?
Alison.
Okay, so which of the movie streaming platform do you make use of and why do you prefer it?
I make use of Netflix. It's just, I would have to say it's better, it's best. The quality, everything is okay.
So have you tried other movie streaming platform?
Not really. Okay, I've tried Mel Movie. I don't know if you know about it. Yeah, they recently just added it.
Okay. So do you still use it or you majorly make it?
Once in a while, I majorly use Netflix.
Okay, so why do you why do you make use of both? Why do you stream both?
There are movies that you can't find on Netflix that you can see on Mel Movie. So that's the reason. That's my reason.
Okay, talking about that, what other future do you think Netflix should add to their list?
Well, I just feel like it should like add more movies. Like they have limited movies. You understand? But if you let's say if you connect to a VPN, you can get better. But like in Nigeria, the movies are limited. So I feel like it should like work on that.
Okay, so how expensive is Netflix?
It's expensive. It's expensive. For me and my sisters, like I pay around 10.5 monthly.
Okay, so you guys share this thing.
Yes.
So tell us more about the sharing process.
What is it? Talk.
Okay, so now what other benefits? I've already talked about the benefit and future. So now I want to ask, how do you like the advert on Netflix?
I don't see that.
Okay, so you don't see ad on Netflix. Okay, now in one word, how do you enjoy watching your movie?
Make sure my food is ready.
Okay.
You understand? Netflix and chill. Yeah, so my food is ready with AC and enjoy myself.
So now I want to ask you, what type of content do you like watching on Netflix?
Action, adventure, and something I can learn from, like all this documentary. Yeah, documentary is they have there are some documentaries on Netflix that are actually very intuitive. Yeah.
So now you're trying to tell me that you learn more on what you watch.
Yeah, exactly. But I mostly watch adventure and action movies for fun.
Okay.
Documentary if I want to learn something. You get?
In terms of emotions and evokement, how does that, when you're watching your movie, how does the movie you watch create your emotions?
I'm nonchalant, so I'm watching it for fun. Like I said earlier.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Morning,
What is your name?
Michael.
Okay, so which of the movie streaming platform do you use and why do you prefer it?
Netflix, because it brings out the new movies that are not on other platforms faster than others.
Okay, so have you tried all that movie streaming platform?
Yes,
Like?
Prime. I've seen Hulu, but that's all.
So why do you prefer Netflix to them? What makes you switch totally to Netflix?
I would say how it looks like, quality is very nice, and they have features that attract my attention.
Talking about features, what other features do you think Netflix is lacking and you want them to add it to their platform?
To be able to screen record the videos. Yeah.
Okay, so now how is the ad like on Netflix? The advert?
The adverts. Me personally, I don't see adverts on my Netflix, so I can't see much about that.
So what other content, like what are the contents you mostly stream on this your Netflix? What is the content, which one of them do you prefer that makes you stick, that you stream on a regular thing? What do you like to see on your Netflix platform?
Movies. I am a teen, so I watch like anime and other stuff, American movies, suspense, thriller, and action and all that.
Okay, how do you like your offline movies like when streaming on this platform?
My offline, I mean, it's okay. The it's okay. Let me just say it's okay.
Okay, so in one word, how do you feel when watching movie?
Makes me, boosts, like gives me adrenaline. Watching crazy shows, comfortable, excited, feel joy. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good morning,
What is your name?
Gabriel David.
Okay, so do you watch movie?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so which of the movie streaming platform do you stream on?
I think Netflix. I make use of Netflix most times.
Okay, why do you prefer Netflix?
There's nothing really much about my preference for Netflix, but rather because of how it's more like the most popular movie streaming platform we have currently now in the country.
So what other feature does Netflix lack and you want them to add it to their platform?
One very important thing I would love the Netflix brand to have is trying as much as possible not to I don't know what to call it, but to bring in trending movies, because I can't be on Instagram and see a trailer of a very good trending movie, and when I come to Netflix and it's not available on the platform, so it's tiring. In fact, that was what even made me to off my subscription from it. I deactivated my card. So if they can do more by bringing in trending movies at the time it is trending, and not when after like 2 years or 3 years after the movie has trended, that is when they will start introducing it into Netflix Nigeria. If they can do more by bringing in, what I mean movies, I mean foreign movies, because Nigerian movies, you can find Nigerian movies in Netflix Nigeria, but foreign movies, Hollywood movies, if they can do their best to bring in or upload the trending Hollywood movies at the time it is trending and not years after it has passed trending, by then one must have lost interest or maybe seen it somewhere else.
So on this Netflix platform now, when watching movie, what type of movie do you like seeing on your platform? Do you stream on majorly?
Crime sci-fi movies.
And that is on which category?
That is action movies, crime movies, Hollywood. That is mostly Hollywood movies.
Okay. So now, how do you like the ad free? Does the ad disturb you whenever you're watching movie?
Definitely, you're paying for it, so they don't include apps. They don't include adverts. I mean to say.
Okay. Now, this offline kind of thing, how do you like your offline selection to be when streaming on movie? Maybe you are busy and you have a particular movie to watch. The offline stuff, how does it work?
No, I feel Netflix are trying with that. You know, once you subscribe for it, you have the leverage to download movies and see them. But the thing is, movies you've downloaded is only accessible to you during your time of payment. So once your subscription plan is over, you cannot view the movie any longer, even whether you downloaded it or not. The only advantage is once you've downloaded it, you can view it without your mobile data being on, that is without internet access. But once your subscription plan is over and there's no renewal of the subscription, then you can't make use of it.
So how is the streaming quality like on Netflix?
Netflix streaming quality is is based on your subscription plan. It's based on your subscription plan. So the higher you pay, the higher the quality of the video. So that's how it is.
So in one word, how do you feel when watching movie? What does movie do to you?
I'm not a movie freak, so most of the times movie is more like a way of relaxation. It's a recreation for me. So whenever I want to just relax and just a few times, and I can't sit and complete a movie, seeing a movie at a go. So just within few minutes, 30 minutes into the movie, I'm done. I'm gone to the next thing. So that's me. A very wonderful life. That's how I live.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Good morning.
What is your name?
My name is Annie.
Okay, so do you watch movie?
Yes, I do.
So which of the movie streaming platform do you stream on?
I use Netflix, I use Amazon Prime, I use YouTube as well.
So why do you prefer using all this platform?
It's just easier to navigate. You can just easily like search the movie you want and it pops up, and that's all.
So which one do you prefer using on a normal day, like mostly?
Okay, for Nigerian movies. If it's not on Netflix, I use YouTube most of the time. And then for foreign movies, I use Netflix. It's only movies that are not on Netflix, then I use Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do you want all this app now? All this platform you make mention, what do you want them to improve on? Like Netflix now, you said if they are not certain movies on, you
Yeah.
go to Amazon. So what do you want Netflix to add to their platform?
I think it should. I think why some movies don't make it to Netflix is because of some certain criteria. Maybe they don't meet up to the protocol. So I think they should sometimes reduce it because they're also good movies, and unfortunately, you just can't find them on these apps.
Okay. So now, in terms of quality, how is the streaming quality like on this platform that you make mention of?
Personally, I think on all of them they are good. It just depends. You know, they have settings for this, so I think it's a personal decision you make based on your data. So it depends on who is watching and what you want. But based on my own preference, I think all of them have very good streaming quality.
So on Netflix, which of the content do you like watching that makes you go to Netflix?
Cartoons.
Okay, on Amazon, which of the
I like seasonal movies on Amazon, like Wheels of Time, Game of Thrones. Yeah.
So in one word, how do you feel when watching movie?
I feel relaxed. Movies are something that I used to pass time and relax my body. So I feel very relaxed and I like learning. And movies is something that you learn a lot from. So yeah, this is one thing I like about movies: relaxing and learning.
So now, before I wanted to ask you, what's the benefit you gain from watching? But you just said it that you.
Oh yeah, learning. I learn a lot when I watch movies, especially when it's not centered around the normal cultural things that I know.
Thank you very much, ma. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, man.
What is your name?
My name is Akinola Sodiq.
So, do you watch movie?
Yeah, I watch movie.
So, which of the movie streaming platform do you make use of?
So I actually mix up Netflix
Why do you prefer Netflix?
because you find all sort of movie there. But if compared to YouTube, there are some restrictions that YouTube will make. But coming to Netflix, everything is just there.
So, how is the quality like on Netflix?
I will rate it. Let me say 100 or more than 90, 99. I'm 107.
Okay, what is that best movie that you love streaming on Netflix? What's the best content you love streaming on Netflix?
I actually like movie about nature. Is it nature? No, traditionals. Yeah, that's just it.
Okay, so what is that feature you want Netflix to improve on that is not on their list, but you wish they should add it to their list?
They should just reduce the subscriber rate. That's just it.
Okay, so how expensive is Netflix for the subscription?
It depends on what rate you want to do. There are some student option rates. So exactly.
Okay, so how do you feel when you watch movie?
Ah,
What does movie do to you?
it makes me feel so relaxed and I feel happy about it.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, ma.
Good morning,
What is your name?
Sarah.
Okay, so do you watch movie?
I do watch movies, yes.
Okay, so which of the movie streaming platform do you stream on, and why do you prefer it?
I stream on Netflix mostly because they have a very large library, and it was one of the few platforms that when it came to Nigeria, I just caught on really quickly. So I've been using Netflix for close to 6 years now.
Wow. So have you tried other streaming platform?
I haven't tried other platforms.
Okay. So is there any feature on Netflix app that you feel they need to improve on?
I feel the recommendations could be better because most times it's just recommending the same formats. That's what the algorithm is supposed to do, but they could be better with grouping the shows together or grouping the genres of entertainment together.
So how expensive is Netflix?
It's quite expensive. I mean, anything that's good, you have to be able to pay for quality. So there's different packages. There's the premium, which is the most expensive package that allows you to stream on multiple devices. So it's a bit I would say it's something you can work within your budget if you have some disposable cash.
So I'm talking about the quality. How is the streaming quality like?
The picture quality is very good, one, and the audio as well. Then they also have original content, which is something most people go to it for. There are particular shows and drama. So I would give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, now talking on content, which of the content do you like? What do you like to see?
Personally, for me, I love my dramas. I love dramas. I watch a lot of animation, so they have also have a lot of animated content, and it's very good for old nostalgic movies that you necessarily won't find on DVD anymore. So you can go back and watch old classics, films from 30, 40 years ago. Some you can find on Netflix. So it's really good for that.
So the offline platform, how does it work on Netflix?
I think you have to download some movies into your device storage. That's when you have your mobile or your tablets and then your laptops as well. And if you have enough storage space and if your subscription is still active, then you have access to the online content.
So in terms of sharing your subscription and movie stuff with your friends, how does that work too?
They would have to sign in with your login. I use my family's subscription, so we are all logged in on like 5 different devices. So we have access to, as long as we stay logged in and the subscription is still active. But it can't exceed, I think, 5 devices, because then Netflix starts to, flag warnings.
So what's that benefit on Netflix that you gain that makes you stick to Netflix?
I would say the offerings and the library. It keeps on adding more and more and more. There are some things that you can't find anywhere else, like the original content. So you kind of want to stay for just that.
So how do you feel when watching movie?
It's a distraction. Everybody can see the state of the country. So just to take your mind off of things for 2, 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours, if you're not doing anything, you're not being productive. So it's just a good source of entertainment.
Thank you very much. Blockbusters to worthy series, it is clear that consumers have a strong opinion concerning their favorite movie streaming platform. And on today's edition, Netflix won the heart of the consumers, mainly because of the high quality streaming platform, mainly because of what it has to offer. I am Elizabeth Abefe. Thank you for watching Consumer Hala TV. Until next time, stay entertained.
Good morning and welcome to Consumer Watchdog on ConsumerHallaTV. Consumer Watchdog is where we talk about advocating for consumer rights and protection, including safety. I am Iri Hayomikuleke. The recent incident involving Nigerian popular musician Wasiu Kwamwan and Comfort Emansin in the Nigerian aviation sector highlights significant concerns about air passenger safety and protection of the rights of the aircraft. The two incidents have really put to test the strength of the Nigerian aviation sector, especially the airlines, in protecting the rights of their customers. While enforcing strictly aviation safety protocols and rules, the lines between the air safety and protection of the rights of air passengers appeared blurred, which gives more room for discretion and indiscretion on the part of aviation operators. Kwamwan, a popular Fuji musician, was involved in a disturbing incident where he attempted to stop a ValueJet aircraft from taking off, and he nearly got crushed by the plane's wing. This reckless behavior did not only put his own life at risk, but also compromised the safety of the crew. The issue that remains unresolved is about the public spare. Is it that this issue could have been well managed by the airline operators? ValueJet and Ibom Air, and that didn't happen. While it may be difficult to anticipate all possible scenarios in the management of air safety and the protection of air passengers' rights, best practice and standard protocols could be made paramount considering the fact and customers remain king in every business. The question is that were the two air passengers, the king of the businesses, pleasantly treated in a way that would make them become champions for the airlines. With the two incidents, for sure, the reputation of the two airlines and the affected air passengers were bruised. With the lessons learned by the operators, the affected persons, and the aviation sector community, the verdict by many is that more still needs to be done by the airline operators in managing air passengers while enforcing as well rules. This gives a path of what we will be discussing and looking at from a legal standpoint this morning on Consumer Watchdog, your favorite ConsumerHallaTV station. We'll also be touching on the place of safety and protection, consent, clear communication, crew training, passengers education, and regulatory oversight. To start off the conversation, I have with me today two knowledgeable legal practitioners and an aviation expert. Also with me, I have a public commentator and analyst to help us further dissect this matter. Good morning, Barrister Oluwatonyo Okene. It's a pleasure to have you on board.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice to have you. I'm starting with you. You know the saying, ladies first. Good morning. Barrister Oluwatonyo Okene is the principal counsel of Okene Chambers. It's a pleasure to have you again.
Thank you.
I also have with me Prince Shupo Atobatele, who was a former assistant editor in Nigerian Tribune at the aviation desk and former general manager public affairs at Nigeria Airspace Management Agency, who presently is the publisher of Air Transport Quarterly Magazine, a leading aviation magazine in Nigeria. With over 35 years experience in the aviation sector as media personality and has attended courses and conferences on aviation in Africa, Europe, America and Canada. Barrister Clement.
Involving the decision was to start with, let's start from the checkpoints. The phases of checkpoint before you get to the aircraft area. That is where the aircraft was parked before you are boarded. Surprisingly, for aviation watchers, we're surprised that a passenger will be allowed to go through one or two screening with his flags, no matter what the contents were. Our approving high must first of all go to the security at the screening points. To start with, is it allowed that someone should carry a flags of that length? No. Then how come that the guy went away without flags to that aircraft export? So that's a public question to those who are managing the screening points at the airport. Then I said it before we came in here that maybe the personality of the person involved must have overwhelmed the security. Seeing the musician live like that, they be hailing, oh, this one, this one, and through that they will overlook all the necessary security check that guy could have gone through before he got out to the tarmac. Now, getting to the tarmac, I think for the pilot to have come down after the man failed to listen to the ground staff of that airline, that ValueJet, and maybe other terminal security staff, you see that the man was so adamant that he has to go in with the flags in his hand, and quote and unquote now saying that don't you know who I am? I will show you who I am, and blah blah like that. And for that pilot to have stayed long for almost keeping the aircraft on ground for 43 minutes. And here in Nigeria now we are talking of schedule operators. That is, your 8 o'clock should be 8 o'clock. Your 9 o'clock should be 9 o'clock. Now, because of this unruly behavior of this personality involved, You have been delayed for almost 43 or 45 minutes, and that informed the pilot. But anyone that's stand on the way of a train, of a moving train, is going to. So the same thing applies here. But now the question you asked, that whether it was professionally handled. Well, with what we watched online, with the video we saw, I think those guys were appealing to him. But now, I believe the handling was fully managed, because at that point, when you've seen that this man is not ready to, to listen to you, the next thing is to call the professional security at the airport. That is, we call them AFSEC, that is aviation security. If they cannot handle him, the next we have airport police command at the airport. You call them, and through that, they can move this man outside. I think that's the loophole that I could see from handling one issue over there. Because if it were to be other client, Europe, America, this guy would be in jail by now. Because that act itself is a threat to safety. That act itself, because if you see that law that were being quoted when this case happened, is any obstruction in whatsoever manner, it's a criminal offense which is jailable for 2 years. So the laws are there, but most people, maybe because of the level of their education, they may not know. They say there's no ignorance in law. But I believe that his exposure educationally must have informed his behavior, because I think that's the first time we are recording such in the industry, that somebody will come in the front of aircraft and no, you can't fly unless I board the plane. I believe what the gentleman could have done is to drop the flags. They can even open the luggage hole and open his luggage and put it there. It's allowed after thorough screening. Someone was saying that the pilot could have collected the flags from him. No pilot will collect that from him, because nobody knows the actual content of the flags. The only thing, normally, conventionally, if you are going with security and they are carrying arms, mandatorily you need to submit those things to the cabin crew, especially the captain, who will take inventory and collect it from you on arrival. He hands over. So that's one issue. The case involving what's her name now? Comfort now. It was a bad scenario.
We are still coming there. Let me ask Barrister Clement about what he said. Let's look from the legal perspective side of it. What do you see of this issue? Was it handled properly, professionally under the law?
Thank you very much. I will take a cue from what Mr. Toba have said. He had already, in the course of giving this summary narrative, made us to understand the obligations of a passenger. The obligation is to the fact that while you are taking advantage of the services of an aircraft, you should also bear in mind that there are obligations that are imposed on you. In other words, you should not conduct yourself in a manner that will bring threat, directly or indirectly, either to the aircraft, passengers, or the surrounding environment. Remember that for you to operate an aircraft in any climate, it is not something that you can just do. There are conventions that member states have entered into, and directly or otherwise, every state is expected to adhere to that and streamline it to a passenger. Passenger also expected to know that this is the minimum requirement of my obligation to this agency, in as much as I expect from them to give me. So like he said, he had just referred to a law that when a passenger violates, it amounts to him, if he is found by a competent court of law to confirm whatever has happened, to have been adjudged guilty. 2 years minimum will come. So having that at the back of your mind, particularly when you're talking about an individual whom we should expect to believe that he ought to be enlightened. Such an individual is expected to act in a manner and a particular standard away from what any other person who is not as exposed supposedly, rather than taking advantage of your supposed exposure and popularity to negate the laws that are put in place to protect both you and your fellow citizens and members. Because with what has happened, imagine that this goes to the other parts of the earth. What impression are you giving foreigners that plans to come into the country? So that law that he has given is what ought to immediately invoked and applied to give a warning to any other intending miscreant that will want to use his position. You can imagine what he did to go and stand in front of an airline that is about to take off. Yes, mercy can be extended, but sometimes it's good, because you and I who watches what has happened, you understand, directly or indirectly, we will be encouraged in one way or the other, or discouraged. The next thing is, who will be the next in line? This young man
said, you know, there are process and procedure that ought to have been followed, where they followed by the airline itself. You know, when that is King Wasiu, when his acts started becoming a nuisance, right? There are procedures they could have followed. Maybe after staying 5 or 10 minutes, what is the next? Who is the next of the same way the matter was escalated to the captain? When the captain couldn't handle it or went out of hands, then it should have been escalated to the security. Yeah. Was the security called? Was it escalated to them? Were they called in? Because if they were called in, then they know the next thing to do. I'm sure if time had been put into, if the process was duly followed, right? What eventually happened, the captain tags in, him dodging for his life, probably it wouldn't have gotten to that extent, right? Maybe the security details would have known what to do and followed due process. So I think the same way we are saying that he should face the law, also due process henceforth, it's a learning for everyone. Due process also should be followed by the airlines.
Thank you for that. Prince Shupol, let's look and let's talk as well at the case of Kwaman. He crossed several security checkpoints before getting to the point of embarkment, where he was told he could not go in with the bottle. Why did the security officials fail in their duty to stop him from bringing in the bottle? Let's put settlement that he is a celebrated site, because obviously Waswai surely must. Can we assume that he didn't know enough about aviation safety policies?
No, we can't say that. He's a regular traveler within and outside the country. But I believe what transpired was that his personality overwhelmed the security. I can confirm that one. It's just like you. Okay, Michael Jackson is late now. You can just imagine Michael Jackson. Oh, let me go to Bob Marley now. Supposing Bob Marley is alive. Bob Marley arriving at the airport here in Nigeria, what do you think it will happen? If you have people, this is Bob Marley, this is Bob Marley. And because I missed that flight in US when I traveled. Guess whom I saw there? I saw Ovanda Holyfield, tall man. I was carried away. I was looking at this Ovanda, this Ovanda. And because of doing that, I didn't even know. By the time I got to, I said the flight had just gone. I said, the flight. But I was lucky. I was protected. So you can just imagine that seeing somebody that you'll be seeing on the TV, blah blah like that. So the same thing could have happened that day to the security. It's not that they are. It's not that they don't know their duty. They know their duty. But that day, I know. This is Kwan. And you know. until we look at the CCTV, then we can see what's
really happened
over there. Like the minister said, he said they are investigating it, and I know by now the information will be on his desk. I believe I can put my money on it that that's what happened. He is a freaking flyer, no doubt about that. But that day, I think something happened beyond my control. Emotional feeling. It happens. We see that. Okay, let me give you this scenario too. My cousin followed me to the airport. We entered the terminal. He followed me, and guess what? Davido was just arriving from his trip, and this boy saw him. He was screaming, Daddy, this is Davido Nina. Davido money, yes. I come and see the airport staff too. They were healing somewhere, even following him. Davido. So that kind of thing. Even if Davido is carrying something that is legal, nobody may even stop it. It happens. Even when you are traveling, people will be asking, what do you have for us? What do you have for us? I think all those things have been stopped now by the Kubent MD of FAN. Doing very well. But I know, I can see it emphatically that day, that's August 5, what happened that day was kind of opera from people who are incidentally, maybe his fan, hailing him. They will give him VIP treatment now to pass through. I've never seen that kind of thing. And I know, if you ask him, that should be his first experience carrying that kind of flask. Maybe he's used to private charter flights. Maybe he's used to it. So if you're on private jet.
In regard to what you said, Prince, where do we draw the line by adhering strictly to the rules and regulations, not minding personality? Let's put personality aside.
People should be committed to their job, their rules, their procedures at the airport. You can't just carry anything. If there's a rule that you can't go in with a liquid of 100 ml, very tiny one. If you travel a lot, you see that even common water,
But if it has to do with health issues, maybe some medical backings, whereby some things are mixed with the liquid, can one still take the flask into?
I doubt that. Even if it is a serious matter, you need to communicate with the pilot, with the crew on ground, and you must have done that from the counter. That we do, but that is safety. Safety is very, very important. That's why we have the captain in command. Anything that says cannot go, can't go. So there are rules there. So I doubt it. I doubt it. If you are on medical something, you better take ambulance then and take your flight to wherever you are going.
All right. Then.
So if there's any emergency, people will be on board and treat you.
Interesting. Barrister Clement, let's talk. Was it right for the pilot to have taxied the aircraft, knowing there was an obstruction right in front of her? Was the act not more suicidal, and doesn't this act have consequences for aviation safety as well?
Thank you once again. In taking into consideration the question you've asked and the action of the captain, I believe that captain, that was not their first day to be flying.
Yeah.
She would have had some level of experience, in fact, that made the airline to even require her services.
Very good.
In compliance with aviation laws, both national and international. So for her to have taken the step she took, number one, as of today, we have not heard that those in the terminal denied giving her approval to move. And there's no way she would have moved
without clearance.
Without getting clearance.
Yeah.
And if you go into the nitty-gritty of this matter, you'll find out that when this young man was standing, she might not have seen or cited her. Cited him. Otherwise, she would not have commenced taxing
for takeoff.
And officers on ground that were supposed to see what was happening in the area where she could not properly view and give her clearance and support. She was not avail those people, and as a result of that, she decided on the only approval she got to respond to it. So her action for me was not in a manner that will contravene aviation rules. Like I said, as of today, those that gave her guide did not deny that they did not give her approval before she moved.
You cannot.
So, and that was why I was a little bit taken aback when they purported to want to withdraw or ban her from flying. You're taking the laws, because one look at it, you may be thinking, a pilot who is after the safety of a large number of people and that of an individual, which one should we prefer? Or have we subjected their two actions to scrutiny to know who has acted right? Are we saying that the pilot acted with certain prejudice or what? You see, what this has brought is this. If we are not careful to correct this thing appropriately, staff of agencies of organization, even though they know they are right, but because they know that sentiment may come in at one point or the other, that may prejudice the action that they have taken in good faith, you will see that some of them, even if they know what to do, because of the consequences that will come, they will do what? They will withdraw from doing that. And that is going to amount to exposing the entire public to dangers. Imagine some of the comment that Kwan made. If they are not careful, it's going to destroy the agency or that airline. What audacity do you have that they made you an ambassador, even if is it the entire Nigeria to represent the aviation? Does that give you the right to act in that? Like Prince said, if there was anything, because in every rule we say there is an exception. If there was anything that will cause you, yes, like he said, you may have been flying private jets. So what stopped you on that day from flying a private jet? So if you want to join commoners in the general plane, you also have to comply to them. Yes, because you are popular, supposedly, and what's supposed to be done or apply to others, they did not apply it to you. When you get to a point where somebody notices it, you have to honor. Otherwise, you should be excused. And you cannot punish the person who insists that you should be excused, because both that person and others who are watching and observing what happened, tomorrow when they see a scenario where they're supposed to take charge and defend the purpose for which they are there, they will not do so because of what? The exposure that if they take those actions, they are going to be penalized.
Barrister Clement, thank you for that. Prince Shipo, let's look at the case of Comfort Emanson here. An eyewitness has testified about what transpired and she. All right, let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. It's still Consumer Watchdog on ConsumerHallaTV.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our Consumer Halla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and a lot more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
Welcome back to the conversation. If you're just joining us, this is Consumer Watchdog on ConsumerHallaTV, where we advocate for the right, safety, and protection of consumers. And on the program, we are having a discussion that has been circulating for the past few weeks about Kwam story and court and Comfort Emanson. And to enlighten the conversation, I have two legal practitioners in the house, and I also have Prince Shupo Tobatele. Prince Shupo, let's look at the case of Comfort here. An eyewitness has testified about what transpired, and she herself said it in a video passed on air to explain a side of the story. Is this not more of poor customer management?
Yeah, it is. I follow the events, the video, the eyewitness account from a legal practitioner. If those accounts were truthful, then one would blame the cabin crew for shoddy handling of the interaction between them and the young girl. Why? Number one, from the account of a legal practitioner who witnessed all the scenario, there were two cabin crew attendants. The eyewitness account, described one as very professional, then the other one crude. So let's focus on the crude one. Is it that he went through training and didn't grab the training, or is it that he brought forth a personal ego into the job she's employed to do? Because they were trained, one, to control the cabin for safety, to ensure that passengers follow instructions. But as you are doing that, you have to be appealing. You have to be, cautious in dealing, because they are saying that a customer remains the king in any business environment. So you cannot, you have a bad customer, but there's a way you can be cautious in handling that customer. So in this scenario, based on the account of witness, I think the other cabin attendant, so cabinet executive she didn't handle the case very well. And by the account of that young girl, she said she could not switch off her phone, but somebody else did for her. So maybe the other woman or the other cabinet executive thought that she has to teach this young girl a lesson. While others disembark on landing in Lagos, she blocked the way of that lady. I think that's where the whole scenario now got escalated.
So what could be done to eradicate poor customer management in 1 second?
It's training and training. Then is it when you want to employ somebody, so especially an individual that will be interacting with customer on daily basis, the composure, the emotional, attachment, then the pride must not be there. If you are proud, you can't. If you are arrogant, you can't be a customer. Always you can always have good customer and bad customer. So when you treat the good customer, you should be able to even extend that to bad customer. You can make it good because you need it tomorrow. But in this case, it was poorly handled. But in fact, the minister even said it when all these issues were coming up. He said these people, they have to embark on training, serious training, everyday training. I remember Nigeria West in those days. As they were training their pilot, their cabin crew, they have their own private, their own ground school where they train all these pilots, where they give them pep talk. The cabin crew executive, where they give them pep talk. They will call the experienced one to give them pep talk before they even embark on a trip. I think what should we be doing now is just what the coaches are doing during the break time. When they talk to their teams, when you go into a second time, this is what to do. I think maybe this is a suggestion for me that even before the crew, goes into a flight, they need to assemble somewhere. There's what we call a cabin crew room where they talk to somebody. Need to talk to them so that thing will be in their head before they embark on any flight. That's my own new idea.
Noted. Barrister Tony, in a viral video released by Comfort, talking aside of the story, citing that video, there have been a lot of reactions and comments bashing her own side of the story, forgetting she's the victim. What happens to one of the fundamental rights of consumer that says every consumer has the right to be heard? Isn't this about silencing consumer voice, which is not proper enough?
Thank you very much. I love that question. First and foremost, we need to know that customer is king, right? And looking at this case, the case of Comfort, how did it escalate to that, to what it escalated to? Basic instructions: switch off your phone. Now, I'm not going to talk about her own account of the story. I'm going to base what I'm going to say on the account of the witness, right? She couldn't switch off her phone for one reason or the other. That issue was already dealt with and resolved.
Exactly.
How did it get to the extent where it now became a physical altercation between herself and the hair hostess, and then it got escalated to staff members, not even security personnel, staff members are the ones dragging her out, stripping her. In fact, it's so sad. Her rights were trampled on. Let us even assume, without conceding, she even refused to switch off her phone. Let us even assume she went that far, right? Yeah. There are ways to address such issues.
Yes.
But in this case, her phone was eventually even switched off. There was a successful takeoff. There was a successful landing. Yeah. How did it get to the point where
she was almost
she was stopped from disembarking, right? From the video she put up, that short video where she said, "Madam, can I pass?" and the hair hostess was blocking her exit. Is it that the hair hostess, was there a serious issue to be addressed? Number one, if there was, did the hair hostess escalate it to the next line of authority? Was the hostess instructed to bar her from disembarking? Or what instruction or right did the hostess act, blocking her exit? Was it that they had reported? Was there a serious issue to report? If the answer is yes, had they reported it? If the answer is yes, were they instructed? Because in all these things, I didn't see the captain in this scenario, right? Was he instructed to bar her from disembarking? Even if she was so instructed, the comfort that recorded that video had her hair on. The comfort that attacked the hostess at the door didn't have her hair on.
Somebody must have
what happened?
Yeah.
Because the comfort in the video telling her, "Madam, let me pass," was a calmer comfort. The comfort that was hitting the hostess was no longer a calm comfort, and her hair was off. The comfort being dragged, oh God, no, you don't treat a customer that way. There are procedures. Let me just follow the procedure. Why didn't you invite if there was really a security issue, why didn't you invite the airport security details?
What is the role of the aviation security personnel in this matter? Because we saw a security man that was on the ground while this action of molestation was taking place.
That was disgraceful.
Why didn't the security personnel go in to inspect what the lady has against the cabin official?
Well, why is for him to answer, because that is what you are there for. The airline staff had no business whatsoever handling comfort. They had no business. It's not their place, it's not their responsibility. Like I said, if there was an issue to be addressed, then it should have been escalated to the proper personnel, which should have been the security detail, and then they would have, in fact, the proper procedure is, if there really was a serious security issue, upon landing, they would have been the one to approach the aircraft and first escort her out of the aircraft before other passengers are allowed to disembark. They addressed that issue first, and she would have been escorted by security details, not disgracefully dragged out of the aircraft.
Was that a national disgrace?
It was national and international disgrace.
All right.
That she actually didn't deserve. She didn't deserve, because they apparently did not handle the issues well, and it escalated to a very ugly incident.
Let's look at the reputational damage. You being a woman, this lady was stripped naked and was seen filmed by this airline and aviation staff. Would she ever recover from this reputational and emotional damage? As a woman, what's your take on this?
The internet never forgets. The internet never forgives. That damage is for life. Right? It can be managed, but the damage is done. It is done. There is maybe compensation, yes, but that damage can never be erased. Never. It can never be erased.
All right. Now let's thank you so much for that, Prince Yopo.
Yeah.
Let's move back to Kwamwan matters. Kwamwan is a top-rated Nigerian musician whose reputation has also been grossly eroded as a result of this act. Is there any remedy to be done?
Remedy on whose part now? On his part or the part of government?
The part of government and his part as well. It's combined both.
Well, on the part of government, well, it's quite bad. It's quite bad because, like I said earlier, this is the first time we are seeing that kind of madness at the airport. But I love the way the minister, reacted quickly and made some of the pronouncements, and later on came back to notify some of the pronouncements. And through that, some analysis, some the newspaper, opinion writers, industry experts, they'll be commenting on that. But like she said, it has gone international, what happened in Nigeria. But any scenario will learn a lot of lesson. Lesson must have been learned about this event that happened, and I believe some correction, some new innovation ideas, protocols will have been introduced into the system, and I know very soon there will be some strict compliance to aviation rules. Then to the musician, well, he has been named as an advisor, as the possibility of making me an ambassador of the industry. He's a musician, he knows how to sing. He's the one to sing and rectified his damaged image, and possibly talk to his colleagues who may likely to behave that way in the future. Like Barrister said, he should be punished. Why? Because in the future, somebody can be mad far more than his own level of madness, because a precedent is being set now in this area. After all, somebody did it, he escaped, so that's why I can do similar thing. So that's just some of the issues that are emanating from this Kwan issue.
Barrister Clement, are you aligning, you as a legal practitioner, are you aligning with what Prince Shoko is saying? And let's look out for Nigerians' reactions to about this story. Many describe the Kwan 1 Act as a grievous. What's your comment about this as well?
In the same way, I still stand my ground. To whom much is given,
Much is expected.
much is expected. What Kwam did, you cannot compare it with somebody who has not known the 4 walls. Yes, we will say that educationally, he may not have known the 4 walls of Nigeria, of a Nigerian university. But the issue is that he is well traveled, and that alone is one of the best way of having, let me call it, informal education. This is not the first time. You cannot tell me that when he want to embark on international trip, he will act as if he's in his village, just like he wanted to do, to the extent that you will go to a plane as if, even if it is a bike or a cab on the road, it's a different thing. A plane, knowing that this plane has how many people inside, and the sector is concerned about their security. The minister and every other player, they are concerned because there is a public image, directly or indirectly, you're putting out both locally and internationally as to how we organize and handle our aviation sector. With what he did, if actions are not taken to send a signal internationally and nationally, people will begin to look down on whatever policies the sector and the government claim to put together. So anyone tomorrow, because you're privileged, you can come and act in a way that will contravene with our existing enabling laws. So that, I'm not trying to be too hard on him, but you see, all of us are witnesses. The public is witnessing what is happening. And like Prince said, if you don't take step now, maybe because you want to be so sentimental, maybe because of this or that, tomorrow, while we are here, we will hear another incident taking place. So the essence of law and penalty is not because there is bound to be wickedness. It is to give a kind of a deterrent. Deter further actions. If I consider that if I do this and I'm caught, this is going to be, that alone will deter me from embarking on that. So those are the things that we are looking at. He is a customer. He is expected to be treated right. But we also know, thank God he is an ambassador in that sector. He should be in the best position to advise people how to comport themselves in taking the services of the aviation sector, and not to be the one to say, after all, I'm here, I can help to do what? To turn upside down the rules that apply in this sector. So that's why he needs to be given some punitive measure.
Barrister Clement, is there a law that backs this action, or what legal right do they have to have taken this action? Talking about Kwamwan and Comfort Emanson, and if there is such law, how come the NAO have not banned any airline operators who in time past have equally infringed on many rights of consumers?
Well, like we say, laws are there. The enforcement of the laws is another thing. Talking about comfort, there is already, as we speak, a pending matter at the Federal High Court against both the federal government and every other relevant and applicable agency as a result of what happened to her. Her right to dignity as a person has been grossly violated. Our right, that's whether you call it 1 second, 1 minute, right to freedom of movement within the time of disembarking from the has been violated, among others. I am a potential passenger in any of the airline. Why should I not think that the treatment method on Comfort may not be meted on me? Since, like they said, even from before they took off, they were able to help her off her phones. What happened between that time and here? At least a minimum of maybe 30-45 minutes flight. Like Prince said, the officer, cabin crew members, they ought to have received training that will make them, no matter how you're provoked, you ought to check. When I was reviewing this thing, there is one message I received, I remember, from a man of God. He talked about engratia. Hold back. If these people, these officers, have held, no matter what Comfort did to them, they have held back, taking into consideration their obligation to the society, they wouldn't have prevented her from coming out when others are coming. Doing that, you are coming to do what? You are segregating, discriminating. You allowed others to go out, even though the plane has landed safely. Why did you? What is the justification? Anyway, let me not preempt the decision of the court. The court will help us, and so that even the aviation sector will come back to review and also further train their men.
Moderator, can you allow me to add
please
this?
go on.
With the Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulation, I think of 2023 Act, rightly protects the consumers. I had cause to interview the director of Consumer Protection Directorate of recent, which I forgot to bring the magazine here. They've been working very hard to protect the right of the travelers, and they've been doing that, which I witnessed. I participated in some of their conferences here in Lagos. They're back on the road show, terminal show, to educate people. Within a space of 12 months, they were able to treat about 7,000 cases from travelers. I'm not speaking for them, but what I know in the industry, based on what is in maybe a new law, there's a law already, well captured in a, call it Nigeria Civil Aviation Act 19 is there for consumers, right? And there's a portal for that. One airline that was sanctioned early this year was able to pay 300 million naira to consumers, to air consumers that in the past they just wave them aside. No, we are not going to refund them. They refunded 300 million. So the problem is that the travelers need to be more enlightened about their rights. It's an international convention which the NC has domesticated into the acts, which they are now enforcing. Like that day now, if that cabin crew attendant had left Comfort alone, like a barrister said, there won't be any problem. After all, for a flight of Lagos should be 55 minutes flight. 55 minutes flight. Somebody helped her to switch it off, and you left it safely. So why are you blocking her? Which means vendetta. You want to, this woman to woman relationship that you need to show this young girl or something. And along the way you block her. Like Barrister said, if that purser or the executive cabin crew woman did not block that lady, there won't be any problem. But if at all you want to polish that lady, it's a matter of communicating with your ground staff that there's a passenger that have violated the road and you want the security to pick her. You will allow her to come down, and the security will have been on ground, and they will pick her, interrogate her, what happened. If they feel that this girl has no case to answer, they let her go. There will have been this crisis that is now online, that has gone international. People are viewing us with different eye, as if we don't have rules. We have rules. Training of the ground staff, training of the cabin crew. If you have to go in aviation, is regular. Training is regular. Conferencing workshop, so that you'll be attuned to the trend of happenings in the industry. Very, very mandatory and very, very important.
Thank you for your take, Prince Shupo. The conversation has been a very insightful one, I must say, having two legal practitioners, including you. It's an honor. Because of time, Barrister Kenny, about this whole incident, what can you say to the consumers out there so as to avoid another victim of Quam 3?
I like that Quam 3. To fellow Nigerians, because we are the consumers, right? Number one, you have rights, but you also do have obligations, right? It is you have a right as a consumer to be treated fairly, to be treated beautifully, but you also have obligations to the safety of every other person. Now, I think the first lesson is try to learn to dignify yourself. Learn the laws, because ignorance of the law is no excuse. For a passenger that is about to embark on a flight, all over the airport, you will see items that are prohibited, right? And when a member of staff approaches you, I'm sure they will always approach you politely, and they educate you further. Just follow the law. In the issue of Quam 1, you see, he said he needed water. There's always water on board. How many seconds would it have taken you to board and ask for a bottle of water, right? And rules that are prescribed for that mode of transportation. It might not be flights this time around. It might be any other means of transportation. There are rules that apply. Just obey and abide by the rules. And then to the aircraft airliners, and all that, you also are bound by rules. In fact, you owe us an obligation. You owe your customers the obligation of treating your customers fairly and rightly and with dignity of a human being. You cannot strip your customer your customer their rights. Cannot deny them the rights because of one thing they have done. If they have done anything wrong or anything that violates the law, follow the due process of the law. The law is there, like Barrister Clement said, the law is there to act as a deterrent. There's a punitive. You just follow the due process of the law without trampling on the dignity and the rights of the consumer. That's my take.
Interesting to the consumers, I can say, so obey before I complete. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Can we talk?
So ConsumerHallaTV, thank you for this innovative work. You're going to keep evolving and just follow the consumer. The consumers will lead you to what they want, and that's how it's supposed to be, always. You're going to have different types of consumers and you're going to pander to the different needs, but you're going to be making consumers very, very powerful. So thumbs up, keep up the good work. My name is Korede Peters. Thank you very much.
Thank you for still staying with us. This is Consumer Watchdog on ConsumerHallaTV, and now we have to draw the curtain on the program this afternoon. But before we go, I will start with Barrister Okeni. Ladies first. Let's have your parting shots.
Okay, I'd say to both parties in the two cases we've considered today. To the consumer, yes, you are king, and like I said before, you do have rights and obligations, and there is no law that can trample on your rights. However, you do have obligations too. But to the service providers, excellent. Always know that there are laws and rules that also regulate your service delivery, and your laws and rules cannot override the laws that protect the dignity and the rights of your consumer. That will always be king. And always, in every situation, make sure you follow the rules, make sure you follow the law so that you are legally protected. But always remember that your customer is king.
Beautiful. Prince Shukbo, over to you now. Let's have your parting shot.
Well, my parting shot still remains that the travelers, they have rights, but at the same time, like my sister here is saying, we need to be through any of Nigerian airport, even across the Atlantic or wherever you are traveling to, and let's respect the cabin crew instructions, because they are there, they are professionally trained, but their job is to see that you are more comfortable with the flights, you obey the rules, instructions, and they handle emergency on your behalf. So whatever instruction given to you, we should obey. And at the same time, our cabin crew executive, they need more training. They should be cautious in the way they treat passengers on board. If they are unruly passengers, there are rules, there are guidelines, there are procedure, how to eject or handle such unruly passenger. It is well known. So I recommend that the airline operators should train more of their staff, let them be exposed to human relations and handling of customers. That's my parting shot.
All right, Barrister Clement, over to you now. Let's have your concluding remark.
Thank you very much. It is well said by my partners on board, and I believe that if we hold, or if the public, including me, hold on to all that has been put in place here, I believe that we will have a secured and more better aviation sector. Let us, as both as passengers, both as the main operators and their staff, let us comply with the relevant applicable rules, regulations, and laws. As individual customers to the aviation sector, let us know that whatever we do at home, when we get at the point of taking advantage of the services of the aviation sector, we should, if we do not know, ask for a briefing so that we can guide ourselves. With that, we all will be ambassadors to the aviation sector, and not just to say an individual will be an ambassador. We all that have used them should be able to testify of services that they give to us. The cabin crew members are there to satisfy your trip, whether it is 30 minutes or 1 hour or more. Let's cooperate with them and help them to give us the best of service. Thank you.
Interesting. I even love the fact that you included yourself talking about the change, because when it has to do with change, it includes you, it includes everybody. Thank you so much, Barrister Clement Eko. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Barrister Oluwatonyo Okeni, it's superb to have you once again here this afternoon on Consumer Watchdog. And Prince Shukbo Tobatele, It's a pleasure. I love the surname so much. Let me tell you that. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Okay,
And now
you.
we have to round things up. And about everything being said on the program, of course, it has touched one or two sectors. So let us make effective use of everything that has been said so as to avoid situations like this, so that another person will not be a victim of this circumstance, and to avoid Quam 3 incidents, so that it won't happen again. Thank you so much. I am Ire Ayomikuleke. Another beautiful edition of Consumer Watchdog will be back next week. Please stay with us for more updates. Good day. Good afternoon. Welcome to the midday news on ConsumerHallaTV. I am Ire Ayomikuleke. We're starting the news now. The federal government, through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, signed a production sharing contract with the Total Energies and South Atlantic Petroleum for petroleum prospecting licenses 2000 and 2001. The blocks awarded in the 2024 licensing round cover about 2,000 square kilometers in the Niger Delta Basin. Total Energies will hold an 80% interest as operators, while Sapetro will take a 20% stake. The fiscal package features a $10 million signature bonus alongside production bonuses of 2 million barrels and 4 billion barrels, or their cash equivalent, upon achieving output levels of 35 million and 100 million barrels respectively. Meanwhile, NUPRC Chief Executive Officer Gbenga Komalafe spoke at the signing ceremony for the execution of the production sharing contract with NNPC Limited and the Total Energies Sapetro in Abuja on Monday yesterday. Said the deal marks a new chapter in Nigeria's upstream oil and gas industry. Moving away from there now, Africa's foremost refinery, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, has been exporting more fuel to foreign nations in recent times. Saudi, Aramco and others in the Middle East Gulf closed refineries for maintenance. According to a report, the senior officer at the Dangote Refinery said yesterday that the $20 billion Lekki-based plant exported large volumes of petrol, aviation fuel and diesel to other countries in August. Meanwhile, it was reported that the Dangote Refinery has supplied 2 long-range cargoes of fuel to the Middle East Gulf region between June and July. According to Argos Media, a Avon refinery turnaround season in the Middle East Gulf is expected to make a tight gasoline market in the fourth quarter, prompting key regional suppliers to boost imports. Argos said Saudi Arabia, which has already shut down 2 of its refineries, is preparing to take additional facilities offline in the coming months. Aramco's 460,000 barrels per day, while Startup Refinery in Jubail is due for a 60-day shutdown in November-December, while maintenance is also planned at the Riyadh Refinery in the fourth quarter. Moving over to the Northeast Governors Forum as it raises an alarm over a potential food shortage in 2026, citing the rising cost of agricultural input as a major threat. In a communique issued after a 12th meeting on Saturday during the previous week, The forum, chaired Mr. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum, urged the federal government and the Northeast Development Commission to increase subsidies for farmers and intensify preparations for dry season farming to avert the looming crisis. The governor acknowledged progress in combating insurgency, but noted that the region will face humanitarian and infrastructural challenges, including damaged bridges and vulnerable communities alongside flood plains. Meanwhile, the call for proactive flood mitigation measure and highlighting the awareness among residents on energy, the forum asked its committee to develop a regional master plan, highlighting solar power as a cost-effective solution to meet the sub-region's energy needs. The NEGF also announced its plan to host the Northeast Trade Fair in Maiduguri, Borno State in December 2025 to make sure to boost trade and economic recovery across the 6 states, which are Adamawa State, Bauchi State, Borno State, Gombe State, Taraba State, and Yobe State. Now let's focus your attention as we talk about the Nigeria Labour Congress and the federal government as they resolve the dispute of workers' pension funds, allowing a meeting with the National Pension Commission on the 29th of August 2025. The meeting was led by PENCOM Director General Omolola Oluwuraran, marking the DG's first official interaction with the NLC since assuming office in July 2024. The union said in a statement shared to journalists on Sunday over the weekend, the engagement followed weeks of escalating pressure from the country's biggest labor organization. However, on the 13th of August 2025, the Nigeria Labour Congress Central Working Committee issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government demanding the immediate constitution of the PENCOM governing board. The ANLC also warned that failure to meet this demand would trigger a nationwide strike. The acting director of corporate communications, Ibrahim Buhari, said the pension regulator rejected the claims of missing funds and assured that workers' pensions were safe and secure. He also said that the appointment of the PENCOM board is the federal government's prerogative action. Now let's bring this news to you. 3 Nigerian small and medium enterprises have received both funding and financial advisory services from the United Nations Development Program and UNC's investment to unlock a blend of $50 million in capital finance from the public and private sectors. This was disclosed at the closing of the UNDP Nigeria SDG Investment Forum on Saturday over the weekend in Abuja. Mohamed Yadudu, the senior assistant to the executive vice chairman of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, saying in an interview with Newsman, said the federal government, in less than 2 years, rolled out an initiative to provide funding for entrepreneurs and boost the country's economy. According to him, the government has the right policies, but there are still gaps in terms of framework and implementation. We're talking about the eastern part of Nigeria. We're here in Enugu State. Governor Dr. Peter Mba has flagged off a new round of free fertilizer and agro-input distribution to about 60,000 farmers across the state. This follows a statement from the state government on Sunday over the weekend, which states that the event was attended by thousands of farmers and stakeholders at Okpara Square, which was described as another bold step towards achieving flood security, poverty eradication, rural prosperity, and transforming farming into a profitable venture into the state. Speaking during the event, the governor, who recalled what his administration distributed 12,000 bags of fertilizers alongside power trailers, seedlings, cassava stems, and herbicides at no cost to farmers in 2024, added that the intervention had led to bumper harvest and reduced food prices across the state. Governor Peter Mba, while stating the importance of farming, also announced that 200 acres farm estates were being established in each of the state's 260 political wards, equipped with irrigation system, warehouses, tractor sheds, and power supply. The governor also disclosed that 102 tractors had already been delivered, dairies another 98 on the way, while 800 more would soon be assembled in no time. We're giving kudos to the executive governor of Enugu State. Now let's talk about this consuming story. The Nigerian Communications Commission has revealed that Nigeria has now consumed a record of 1.1 million terabytes of data in July 2025, which is the highest monthly usage ever recorded. The surge is driven by the shift to higher generation network, with 4G adoption rising to 50.85% and 5G connections reaching 3.70%, while 3G usage continued to fall. This milestone comes just 2 months after Nigeria first crossed the 1 million terabyte mark in May. Despite the record consumption, total internet subscriptions declined to 138.7 million from 141.1 million in June, following a 50% price increase by telecommunications operators. Airtel led the losses, shedding 2.4 million users, while MTN, Globacom and Nine Mobile also recorded declines. Active mobile subscriptions fell to 169.1 million, reducing Nigeria's steady density to 78.11%. Experts warned that the data boom is putting pressure on existing infrastructure, prompting operators to accelerate 5G rollout and network expansion. Following this update, Airtel Nigeria Chief Executive Officer Denise Balsing confirmed heavy investment were underway to meet rising demand, particularly in urban centers like Lagos State. Now we're talking about the federal government. The federal government has completed a comprehensive review of Nigeria's national curriculum for primary, secondary, and technical schools, aiming to reduce content overload, enhance learning outcomes, and equip students with skills relevant to the global economy. Announcing the update, Minister of State for Education, Professor Suheba said Ahmad, the review was conducted in collaboration with key agencies, including the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, Universal Basic Education Commission, and as well the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, with the National Board for Technical Education. The revised framework adjusted the number of subjects for different levels. A primary school student from primary 1 to 3 will take 9 to 10 subjects. Primary 4 to 6 will take 10 to 12 subjects. A junior secondary school will take 12 to 14 subjects, while senior secondary school will take 8 to 9 subjects, and technical school students will take 9 to 11 subjects. Ms. Ahmad emphasized that the changes are designed to allow deeper learning and more practical education, creating a future-ready system for Nigerian learners. The ministry confirmed that the curriculum will be implemented nationwide under close monitoring to ensure smooth adoption in schools. Stakeholders involved in the review were commended for their teamwork in producing a stronger, modern curriculum. Moreover, despite these reforms, the Nigerian Union of Teachers and UT cautioned that funding remains a major issue, warning that without adequate investment in infrastructure, learning materials, and teacher support, the structural changes alone may not resolve challenges in the education sector. Bringing you more about the federal government is now saying many federal workers are unable to access its housing loan schemes because they have mortgaged their salaries through multiple loans from commercial lending agencies. The Executive Secretary of the Federal Government State Staff Housing Loan Board, Aji Ahmed, explained that the heavy loan deductions from workers' salaries make them ineligible for housing loans. She disclosed this at the Permanent Secretary's quarterly forum with union leaders organized by the Service Welfare Office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation recently. Aji Ahmed said the situation was worrisome because the board had increased its loan ceiling to 20 million naira for senior workers to benefit, adding that the government had also created a special scheme for officers on grade levels 8 to 14. She explained further that the board was partnering with mortgage institutions and private developers to make housing more affordable for civil servants. Moving away from the federal government matters now, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria's decision to build a makeshift terminal restore the planned refurbishment of Murtala Mohammed Airport Terminal 1, valued at 712 billion naira. Remember, it was gathered that FAN announced to the airline operators of Nigeria And a temporary terminal would be built to accommodate airline front desk officers, airport workers and passengers while the old terminal is being refurbished. A source privy to the meeting between FAN and AON, who pleaded anonymity due to the lack of authorization to speak on the matter, said what was agreed was that they are going to build a temporary structure somewhere around the new terminal and airlines, as it will not stop working from the old terminal until the temporary structure is ready, and then they will now be moved to the makeshift structure. The source added that the building of the temporary structure would take 3 months, saying it is then that the tearing down or pulling down of the old terminal can begin. Now confirming that arrangement, things were being put in place to provide a temporary station for airport users. In a text message, a spokesman of FAN, Orabiageli, said, "We're putting arrangements in place to ensure we provide a temporary station for all airport users. Work commences once all plans are in place." And now we've come to the end of ConsumerHallaTV, the midday news. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ire Ayomikule. Up next is Scam Alert.
My name is Corey Peters and I am a product manager. So this is a very innovative idea, and first off, everybody is a consumer, and so this is the voice of the consumer, and this is the voice that is going to be heard. For the first time, the consumers in this country are going to be able to express their ideas and to get to know your rights, to know what belongs to you. And it's going to change a lot of branding. It's going to change a lot of things, because everybody knows that we're not just getting things out for the consumers. The consumers have a right to accept. You know, as they say, the customer is always right. So the customer is the consumer and the consumer is always right. So, you know, when there is control, when there is feedback, there is bound to be change. So so I said, I'm a product manager. When you develop products, sometimes you believe you know what the users want, and through different kinds of surveys. But when the users actually get the product, they can tell you their mind, how the product is, their feeling about the product. So it's good to definitely change how products are being designed, how services are being given to people, because you can get a feedback, and that feedback can make or mar a company, you know, and everybody wants to have good feedback. So it's definitely going to change the behavior of people that make products. One very good thing is information. Information is power. So the consumer is going to get way more powerful. The voice of the consumer will be heard, the opinions of the consumers will be heard, and that opinion will shape how products and services will be made in this country going forward. Be on the lookout. You are now in charge. Several things coming your way through this station. I'm very excited about it. The things he's already brought out, and there will be many more things. But the bottom line, the consumer is now in the driver's seat. So ConsumerHallaTV, thank you for this innovative work. You're going to keep evolving and just follow the consumers. The consumers will lead you to what they want, and that's how it's supposed to be, always. You're going to have different types of consumers, and you're going to pander to the different needs, but you're going to be making consumers very, very powerful. So thumbs up, keep up the good work. My name is Corey Peters. Thank you very much.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrives.
And guess what? Our Consumer Hala brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
My name is Tunde Olufowora, and I'm the CEO of Brand Eye Communications. We are the we call the publisher or the owner of the new initiative called ConsumerHallaTV. ConsumerHallaTV is actually Nigeria's first consumer-centered, or call it consumer-centric television platform that aims to bring voice to the over 220 million Nigerians. It was a vision that came to my heart about 10 years ago. I remember that I was traveling. I traveled out of the country, on airline, and I had this unpleasant experience. It was a trip to an African country from Nigeria, and I actually went with a local flight from Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the airline, and then it was to South Africa, and we landed in South Africa, and let me just paraphrase it. When I was coming back, I had some money, some dollars, and that someone had given to me to hand over to another person in Nigeria. So I wanted to help out. I didn't want to carry the cash on myself. So for whatever reason, I opted to. I had a small case, and I felt that it was safer for me to put the money in my luggage. So I put it in a safe place in my luggage, got everything intact, and I checked in my luggage. My arrival in Nigeria, I was standing and was waiting by the carousel just so that I could pick up my luggage, and then I was there for 1 hour and waiting for my luggage. I didn't know that my luggage already arrived, and it was one of the luggage that was moving around on the carousel. So after about 1 hour wait, I looked to my left and my right. Almost everybody had gone. I think there were just about 2 or 3 left. So I beckoned on the woman that was on my side, and I noticed she was really in tears. Madam, what happened? She said, her bag has just been torn and a lot of things stolen. So I said, well, I've also been waiting for my own. She said, you better go and check those luggages there. Maybe yours is one of them. And lo and behold, I went around there. mine was one of them. By the time I got it, everything inside my luggage was gone. All the valuable things there were gone. To cut the long story short, we felt there was need for us to report the case, at least to the airline. It was in the night, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We went in to go and see the officer that was in charge. As soon as we got in there, the officer said, "Oh, so sorry, but you will have to go to our head office in somewhere in Victoria Island, to lodge a complaint." Okay. So the next day we went to the Victoria Island and we lodged a complaint, and that was it. And since that day, I'm talking a story of over 10 years ago, I didn't get a call, not even a call from that airline to talk to me about what happened to my luggage. Now, about a month after that trip, I had another opportunity to travel out of the country. This time around it was to US, and it was an official assignment. And I flew on, I will mention the airline this time around. I flew on a BA. I really didn't like BA. I usually go with Virgin Atlantic and things like that. But my protocol officer convinced me and said, "Okay, you will love BA. Why don't you go on BA?" Anyway, so I went on BA to US. And of course, when I returned from US to Nigeria, we had to do, of course, there'll be like a connecting flight, from Heathrow. So we got into London Heathrow, and then because it was through Heathrow that we went, and then so they changed since it was BA, they changed the aircraft this time around to a bigger one. I mean, clearly because there were more Nigerians, or more people that were planning to come to Nigeria, and then we boarded. Not quite 10 minutes into the flight, in the air, the aircraft started malfunctioning. The air conditioning compartment were not functioning very well. I was on what you call business economy. The whole of that business economy, all the way to economy side, the ACs were not working well. It was hot. And then I was watching. And then from that moment till we got to Nigeria. From that moment till we got to, I'm just trying to paraphrase. From that moment till we got to Nigeria, I could remember very well how many times the pilot, broke into conversation and had to apologize and say, "We're really very sorry about this." He was giving us almost every 30 minutes. There's always a kind of update. "So sorry, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing." While we were on that journey, I also remember an incident. So they came, the crew apparently couldn't resolve they couldn't manage the crisis or what was going on about it. They couldn't fix it. So they came up and said, "We're so sorry, but for all the inconvenience, we're declaring, free lunch, free whatever it is you want, you can get." So trust Nigerians, you need to hear how everybody was jubilating, But something struck me. The experience I had just about a month before, and this experience, somehow I started comparing them. I was trying to see how this matter will be managed. Again, to cut the story short, we landed in Nigeria on the BA. Before we landed, the pilot announced and said that for the inconvenience, they will be giving a voucher of £50 to everyone that flew on that aircraft. I thought it was a joke. It was my first time with BA, but for what I knew or know of the British man would never even play with his 1 penny, talking of £1. So I felt that must be a joke of the year. So we left. I got back to my office. I think it was just about a week after. My officer, our guys in our mail room came up and said, "Oh, you have a parcel." So I said, "Parcel? Yeah." So they bought this parcel, wrapped. I opened it, and boom, I bought the document out. It was the £50 voucher from BA. So what's the tenor of this story? An experience with one airline was terrible, no apology. An experience with another one, even though it was a bad experience, but it was very managed, well managed. So managed that even if we have suffered anything in that aircraft, you probably, for the sake of how they manage it, will have forgiven them. So that was how this journey started. So I started thinking, my mind, this is what we go through in this country. But are we different from other nations? So God put in my heart the idea of Consumer Hala. That's why the Hala came with consumer. And we started that.
Aside from hiking inflation and battle with counterfeit drugs, another situation Nigeria should be aware of is the issue of one chance, which has become a norm for Nigerians, most especially Nigerians who board public transport. One chance in Nigeria refers to a notorious scam where victims are tricked into giving up their money or valuables under false pretenses, often involving fake business deals, inheritance, or romantic relationship. The scammers typically use charm manipulation and deceit to gain trust. Meanwhile, of recent, the issue of one chance has now risen, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Let's get to hear what the victims of a recent one chance situation in Abuja.
I shouted from the road where I was, area 8, and the car was actually about moving before I shouted and they stopped. So I ran to the vehicle. I said area 8 again. They said, "Do you have change?" I said, "Yes, I have 500 naira." It's okay, enter. So there was a guy sitting close to the passenger side. So as soon as I opened the vehicle and entered, he shifted for me towards the other side. So as soon as I entered, I noticed the glasses were winding up. So I was trying to look around and it was, everything just happened so fast. So, and the guy in front came up with a knife, a jackknife, and was coming directly to me as if he was going to stab me on my chest. So I was not shouting. The one who shifted for me now tapped me with a gun and said, "Madam, the only thing that will save you here is cooperation. If you don't cooperate, we'll just kill you and push you out and nobody will know." So at that point, immediately he said that the one that came with jackknife now tied my face, tied my hand, and they bent me over under the back chair where I was, and they covered me. Both of them covered me, and the vehicle was moving. I didn't know where they were moving to, but they grabbed my bag and my phone and they started asking me questions, my BVN number, my NIN, my account details, and how many banks do I operate, where do I work, what level am I, and all that. the things I saw before, they tied our eyes and our hands and overpowered us and started torturing us, beating us up and asking us to cooperate. They were saying so many things that if we don't cooperate, that they would send us to Baba, then Baba house, and Baba will use our body for rituals, they will use our organs, stuff like that. So out of fear, we gave them our password and stuff, so they now opened their phone, collected all the whole money in our accounts, in my account. They collected all the whole money in my account and went ahead to borrow loan. And even the loan own, I didn't even know that they already did that, because I think when they opened my...
Having it from the victims, the government are taking necessary steps to prevent one chance. And now Nigerians should be more aware of the one chance scam and taking preventive measure. All individuals should protect themselves from falling victim to this deceitful act. Ire Ayomikuleke, ConsumerHallaTV News, Nigeria.
First of all, before we start the program today, let's give a special shout out and thanks to Channels for that comprehensive report about the issue, the alarming issue of one chance in Nigeria, especially Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It is one of the most biggest issue right now at Abuja. And also thank you so much, Ire Mikule, for that important and comprehensive voiceover that you helped lead with the videos. And that video is not a property of ConsumerHallaTV. It is just for us to buttress our point of the bone of contention today on ConsumerHallaTV. So thank you so much, Channels TV, and the right to that video remains with you. We're just here to use it to buttress more of our point today. It's a very sad story, listening to everybody. I think we've discussed a little bit of one chance issue in Nigeria, happened in Nigeria. We one that we spoke about that happened in Mowe, Lagos State, and a lot of places in Nigeria right now. Scam is something that is growing rapidly, even though it has been with us for the longest of time. It seems as though we have not tried to look for a way to curb this particular issue. It's growing incessantly, and the control units, the security agency are trying their possible best to curtail this particular issue, but it is something that we keep on dealing with every day of our lives. And listening to those two victims, I'm so sorry about whatever happened. That is why we need to be very vigilant, very cautious of where we're going to and where we are particularly. Like I've always said, nobody is above being scammed. Nobody is above being, you know, a target of this particular issue. Nobody's above being a victim, no matter how learned, educated or whatever you feel you are. Anything can happen to anybody. I mentioned it about a particular marketer, digital marketer at Ife, that got scammed of 50 million naira recently. Not because she's not learning. Somebody that is a tech, like somebody that is always on social media, that is a tech savvy, that understand the situation, but she still got scammed one way or another because of the fact that these particular scammers keep on bringing new ways, new strategy to actually make us fall victim of their issue. And the issue of one chance is an alarming issue. It is a very sad issue. It is the one thing that we are already dealing with insurgency in the country, and now we're dealing with one chance. Everybody is trying to make money, but the way you are making your money sometimes is what will I say, can be very impactful on another person in a very negative way. Scamming is something that is not a beautiful thing. It's not a thing that you can come out and say, yes, I am a scammer. And it is something that Nigerians are known for. Before our music, our food, our culture, they will tell you, yeah, that country, that scamming country, is as if we are in India and we are competing, which is very, very sad. And our image precedes us wherever we go to. Nigerians are smart people, we're intelligent people, we are innovative people, creative people. But then scamming is something that sits down in our midst. In fact, at the top of the chain, scamming is something that has been going on for a while now. So let's all be careful out there when we are entering vehicles, when we are boarding anything. Let's avoid being on our phone. I know most of us do this. Even sometimes I can say, oh, let me quickly check a message. That particular minute you are trying to scroll to know what is going on, trust me, your attention that has just shifted has given them an avenue to plot. And if you are entering a particular vehicle and they are putting you in the middle, and you know somebody's already here, and you are entering a vehicle, somebody's now coming down for you to sit in the middle of a vehicle, no matter the marwa, korope, anything, I feel like it's a red flag, a big red flag. Sometimes some people will say, oh, I want to get down. Trust me, tell them that, don't worry, I'm going to get down for you. I'm going to go back where I'm going to. But if I'm not the one willingly sitting in the middle, I'm not going to sit down. Oh, you're in a vehicle, a moving vehicle, be it marwa, keke napep, like they always say, korope, anyone that you are inside your boarding. If the person at the front is sitting at the front already with the driver, and then you meet somebody at the back, and then when you now sit down, the person now came back to come and sit down. Why exactly were you sitting at the front before, or you're not sitting beside the passenger? Those are little red flags that we need to take notice of. And the fact that if you're actually entering a vehicle and your intuition kind of tell you that something is wrong with where you are going to, or something like that, try to listen to yourself. Don't be in a haste, don't be in a hurry. Patience is always key. Survey whatever is inside the bus. You're entering a korope early in the morning. So when people that work in Lagos State, early in the morning, you're going to a place that you need to be there very early. And then when you get to the korope stand, the person in the korope is telling you that, don't worry, enter, I will carry only you to where you're going to. That's not how it is done in Lagos State. If the bus remains one person and it is not full, that man is not going anywhere. If he doesn't have an ulterior motive, it's not going anywhere. The bus has to be filled up. If it is not filled up, trust me, it's not moving an inch. So somebody that's saying that only you will carry the same price to where you are going to, and he locked the door, I don't understand. It's a lot of red flags. So let's be very careful out there when it comes to issues like that also. And when we are actually dealing with people that look kind of suspicious, these are issues, these are red flags also. When you enter a bus, it's mainly a particular gender, and then it's looking like you are the only odd person out there, and maybe you're going somewhere, you enter a bus, you're seeing everybody there sleeping in the bus. People sleep in the bus, don't quote me wrong, but everybody sleeping at the same time in the bus, and you open your eyes to enter that bus, it is a very big red flag. Having your BVN number is a whole lot of damage, because no matter the money that goes into that account, they have access to it, because your BVN number is your own personal identification number. And if you don't go to your bank immediately to rectify it, trust me, they're going to keep on collecting money from that account. And I would always tell people, sometimes maybe it's just good to only have one bank app on your phone, or even if you don't have one bank app on your phone, always hide some of these apps. Some people have some of these scammers are very smart. They can still go to where you've hidden your whatever, but try and always have one app on your phone. Multiple apps on your phone is a lot. You can always use your USSD code to withdraw money. You can always, if you're someone that you are very good at keeping a password, you can always download your app, your bank app, delete it immediately, because it's looking like that's the first thing that they are targeting. Immediately they get your phone, the next thing they are asking you is that, how many banks do you use? And once they open it with your password, they've already seen all the banks that you are using. Trust me, they are going to take your money. All your messages. Sometimes also try as much as possible to limit the amount of messages that comes to your account, your phone with your bank, or you can archive your messages also. You can now go when they release you, by God's grace, which I pray none of us fall victim of. When they release you immediately, you get somebody's phone to block your account, because that way you've been able to at least, you know, save something. Because there was a lady that actually brought in a testimony about how she entered a Korokwe in Lagos State under Oshodi somewhere, going to Ikorodu, and then when she entered, the man said, "Oh, you can enter, don't worry, I'm already leaving now." She didn't think of it because she was in a hurry to go and deliver something to somebody in Ikorodu. And when she got when she noticed that the man turned under the bridge and just went straight ahead to around Beggar side, you know, going to Ibadan Expressway, and the man threatened that if you don't give me your account, I'm going to carry it to one bush, though I'm going to collect all your money, I'm going to do whatever I want to, sexually abuse, you know. It kept on threatening her. And sometimes they would actually do what they are threatening you with, because right then and there they don't really care about you, they only want your money. So sometimes it's always good to play safe and not play smart. That's the issue that we also have at hand. So she was like, thank God for her, she only had her OPay account on her phone and her PalmPay account on her phone, and there are no much money there, but all her 3 major commercial banks, that she doesn't have them on her phone. So he was able to collect around 25,000 naira from her. He took all the money in her bag also, and he collected the goods that she was going to deliver. I think she said she was going to deliver perfume or something. He collected the goods from her and collected her phone, but she just spoke up and said, I don't have any money, I don't have any phone to leave here, because the person, the scammer also, because he has a little bit of human feelings, some of them don't even care. They will have slapped you 1 or 2 times before you even think of asking, give me my phone, give me my password. So he threw her phone and he gave her a sum of 1,000 naira. That's okay, use it to take transport and go home. You've seen cases of Uber drivers also. The Uber drivers, private vehicle, private transportation sector in Nigeria needs to do a lot of scrutiny in their system. A lot of cases of kidnapping, raping, you know, a lot of issues like that have happened. Sexual assault has actually happened with Uber drivers with their customers, because of the fact that there are not a lot of scrutiny. Anybody can just say, oh, I want to go and register somewhere, and then there is no assessment whatsoever. Many are battling with the mental issues in Nigeria. It's just that we don't, you know, go for evaluations to know that something is wrong with somebody. And so those are the issues that we have, that we need to be very careful about when you're actually boarding vehicles. There's a notorious Uber driver right now that is doing all of these things: sexual assault, collecting your money, threatening you with abalis to come and, you know, cut off your body parts, you know, dismember you, and then they will sell you as I don't understand, they will sell you to abalis for ritual purposes. And the fact that the second lady that spoke on in the video said that the scammers went ahead, the one chance people went ahead to still borrow a sum of money with our own account, with our BVN number, because they already have access to it. You know, she said that they went ahead to borrow money. The amount of money is quite huge, and then she didn't even get to find out until they started calling her and said, oh, you borrowed so amount with your BVN number. How that is possible, I don't know. How they got a passport, I don't know. You know, online loaning banks also need to do a lot of scrutiny to who is coming to loan from you, to actually borrow money from you. Because I don't understand why somebody would borrow money from you. You didn't ask for the person's picture, the person's passport, you know, stuff like that. Verification or sort of didn't happen, didn't go on. So borrowing, lending app, online lending app needs to also do a lot of scrutiny to who they are loaning money for, because trust me, sometimes you don't even know who has used your name or who has used your number or your BVN to go and borrow money. Just start receiving calls. I didn't borrow the money, so why am I supposed to bear the brunt of who has went to borrow money from you? These are issues that are actually eating us up in the society. Federal Capital Territory to be precise. One chance issue has been has been one thing that has been going on like it's getting worse. It's getting worse. What can we do to curtail this? What can we do to protect ourselves? What can we do to know how to avoid these issues? I've mentioned a lot of them. Try and be vigilant, be patient, do not rush, follow your intuitions. Your intuitions most of the time save you a lot. Your body tells you sometimes and say, don't board this thing, don't do this one. So these are issues that we need to look at. And when it comes to financial crime security agencies, also need to go in the streets and start checking buses, vehicles. Maybe we need to start registering vehicles and putting numbers on them that say, okay, this vehicle is already registered. Maybe we need to do that, because if we do not do that, people would not stop. I don't know if you got understand, like everybody should go and be registering their vehicle under their union, because I know we have union in Lagos State. I don't know if we have union in Federal Capital Territory, but I know that we have union in Lagos State, we have union in Ibadan, we have union, motor union in Ogun State. So these are places that I'm very familiar with. So maybe we will go there, everybody will have a tag number and say, okay, this is so number, this person is a registered person, and then the person has their own profile display on their bus, so that we can all be safe. Maybe we should be doing that now in Nigeria, because the case of one chance issue is very, very interesting, very sad, very I don't know how to put the particular word. It's something that has been growing. It's a trend that is growing. It's not a beautiful trend for people to get kidnapped, be threatened at knife point, gun point. You are threatening people with gun, knife point, telling them you're going to actually kidnap them, take them to an herbalist to cut off their body parts, sell it for ritual purposes and stuff like that. It's a traumatic experience. I don't wish that on my worst enemies. ConsumerHallaTV is a very particular program that deals with all of this issue. We bring to you issues that are trending, issues that keep on disturbing our society, issues that we need to purge out of our society. And if you are a victim of scam, if you're a victim of one chance, trust me, it's not a thing of shame. Anybody can also be a victim of this particular issue. I pray none of us is, but awareness in talking about it, social interactions, how you got into it, what really led up to those situations on ground. These are things that if we discuss with people around us, we can learn one or two and say, oh, I entered the bus, I was put in the middle, and the person at the front came to the back. Oh, when I entered the bus, everybody was sleeping. Oh, I entered the korope that was taking only me to where I was going to, locked the door. I entered the korope that had conductor. I entered a lot of, these are flags. If you can point out all those red flags and put it into documentation, people are going to take note of it. And when they are also entering a vehicle, immediately that particular issue occur to them, it will come to them and say, okay, somebody told me this. Even though the vehicle is not a one chance, at least your antenna will be doing, the alarm will start sounding and say, this is what somebody told me that happened to them, so I need to actually do better and look out for my life. So these are issues that we need to keep on discussing with ourselves. ConsumerHallaTV, like I always say, I learn a lot from ConsumerHallaTV, and I hope that we also learn one or two from ConsumerHallaTV. One chance is not a beautiful thing. Nobody wants to be a victim of them losing their valuable, their money, or at worst, their life. These are issues, trending issues in the society that if we are not careful about, would keep on doing it. And as we are coming to the end of the program, almost at the end of the program, I would always say to us also that when we have issues of scams, we need to be very careful. Raising awareness is something that is important. Being patient sometimes is, most times, not even sometimes, is something that we need. It's a key discussion. It's a key factor in whatever we need. And thank you so much for Channels TV to cover this particular story of victims that scams, that this one chance issue has occurred to. ConsumerHallaTV is that program for you, an educative, entertaining, informative program that gives you insight on how scam works in this particular side of the world. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this afternoon. God bless you, and please stay safe and stay vigilant of any particular scam out there. If you have anything that you want to tell us, how you've been a victim, or how you can also help us, give us detailed information on how we can avoid these things, trust me, you can always reach out to us on all our social media platforms. YouTube, where you're watching us, or probably Facebook, where you're watching us, at ConsumerHallaTV, X at ConsumerHallaTV, Instagram at ConsumerHallaTV. Slide into our DM or comment on our comment section and tell us your views and opinion on this particular issue, and what advice also would you give to everybody in the country to stay safe. I'm Kikelomo Ajibola, and you just watched Scam Alert on ConsumerHallaTV.
About 10 years ago, we started by creating a platform called ConsumerHalla, where consumers, so I discovered that Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. So things happen, and that's it. We live with everything. So we've started the journey from creating the platform. We have an app, we even have a magazine, and we thought we could move it from that to the next stage, which is the television. So the TV today, has come. So I would say precept by precept, line upon line, we have been able to build on our aspiration, to finally bring to birth this unique and exciting platform, So it's a digital telecast, and our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The world of consumers is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria, all right? So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you. We build it in such a way that we have connection to almost all the organizations, and it's been working. We've resolved several complaints for people without having to charge them any penny, because the idea is not to charge. So what we have done with ConsumerHallaTV is to take it to the next level. So we hope to change the narrative. We want to give the right direction. Nigeria has the largest consumer market in the world, with a population of over 220 million people. Why should we be the one that is suffering the most? Everywhere you turn to, it's as though Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. You're traveling, you buy a ticket. For whatever reason, an airline will wake up middle of the night, delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation. Then while you're there, they can even wake up and say, oh, flight has been cancelled. So everybody carry their luggage and go home. Nothing happened. Of course, things are changing. We must commend government because government is beginning to wake up, but there's still a lot to be done. And we believe that we can help to make, those bring about those right changes. So we offer deliberately, part of what we do is that we also offer advocacy. All right, we're not just an advocacy organization, but we offer advocacy. We have a legal team. We have lawyers that are registered on our platform. All right, that can also take up cases. Okay, so and we've taken up many cases like that, and won those cases. So Consumer Hala is a platform to help consumers to, we're not fighting brands, but rather we say we're bringing about an amicable, resolution of conflict, such that it will be beneficial to the consumers and also be beneficial to the brand. I remember the word of Jeff Bezos. Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He said that the most important single thing, all right, for an organization is to focus obsessively, use the word obsessively, on the customer. We often say that customers is a king. They should sit at the top of the ladder. In our environment, customers are the ladder. A brand wakes up today, decide what product to produce. They wake up today, decide how much the consumer should pay. They wake up to decide everything for consumers. So consumers are just at the receiving end, and yet they are milking the consumers. There's no price regulation in this country, none. People just wake up and fix prices. Look at the power. Government wakes up, we change policy, we wake up and we get people to pay more. We think it's time for consumers to begin to speak out. In speaking out, in engaging, we can get the brand to begin to do what is right. And of course, I know that the consumers themselves need to be educated. So our role, our vision also is to ensure that we educate consumers, we bring awareness. A lot of Nigerian consumers don't even know about their rights. You buy a product from a supermarket. I've had this experience. You buy a product from a supermarket, all right? For whatever reason, you take that product back to your house, and maybe something went wrong somewhere. By the time you take that product back to the shop where you bought it from, and you say, Oga, this thing, you know what's going to tell you? Oga, na me make am. Na me make am now. That's why I buy am. Meaning that there's nothing I can do to the product. So you lose the product, then you lose your money, because the money is not refunded. The product you can't use. Only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria. Let me give you another experience I had. In the course of this, because I went around, in doing this. I was in US, I was in UK, I was in South Africa, I was in Germany, just because of this, to just study the environment. I was in a friend's house in UK, in London, and then what happened? We were going to go out, and he was going to dress up. So he said, oh, to me, I was seated in his sitting room. So he said, oh, wait a minute, I picked up an iron, that's the present iron, 2 days ago or so from a store. Oh, let me try this, let me just try and use that to iron my shirt and we can go out. So I was seated, the TV was on, I was watching. While I watched him, he brought out the pressing board, spread it out, brought the iron out in my presence, plugged in the iron, and then as soon as he switched on the power button, we just had a spark Boom. Ooh. The guy was raged. Then he goes, what? What just happened? So he said, no, these guys are in trouble. They're in soup. I was thinking, what are you going to do? You know, I was trying to compare that experience to what would have happened in Nigeria. In my presence there, he opened the pack. There was a card inside it. Inside that card was a call, number to call. And he called the shop or wherever he got the thing from. I was hearing the conversation that was going on. And all he said to them on the phone was, look, by the time he even called, clearly because they already, through the call, they could trace where he was calling from and who was calling. He said, yeah, I pick up this number, I pick up this iron yesterday, and guess what? I just plugged it to power, and then this thing just, stopped, didn't work. At the other hand, I could hear the voice, oh, we're so sorry. We're sorry about that. And they said, this is your address, yeah? Don't worry, we'll get you a replacement. All right. So my friend handed the call and dropped the. So I said, so what's going to happen? They will bring a replacement. I said, they will bring a replacement. He said, yes. I said, they won't even try to check whether it was your fault, because it could have been your fault. Maybe you didn't do something well about the first. No, it can't be his fault. Maybe it's a brand new item that he bought. While we were still talking, in fact, I'm not even sure it was up to 30 minutes or so, we had a knock on the door. He himself said he must be the dispatch person. By the time he opened the door, it was a dispatch man that was on the other side. And then the dispatch man was at the door. Just watch this. Was at the door. I was seated in the sitting room. The guy was at the door to meet with the dispatch guy. The dispatch man that brought the replacement iron, I heard him say, we're so sorry. So I was so shocked. I mean, a dispatch man, this guy is a dispatch, so also apologize. I was so touched by it that even a dispatch man was so trained, to tell the guy, we are so sorry. And guess what? He brought the replacement iron. By the time my guy opened the iron, it was a bigger size iron. So they replaced with a bigger size iron. The guy never asked for the one that went bad. He didn't say, okay, where is the other one that we gave to you so that he could take it back? No, he just brought a new one and gave it back. So I asked my friend, I said, can you interpret this to me? He said, here in London, if they didn't do this, they know the next thing I would do. So I'm just going to grab a lawyer. And I'm going to tell them they've destroyed something in my house. By the time I'm done, they will pay through their nose. Because the consumers are conscious of their rights. In Nigerian consumers, even those who are aware, won't even take the battle up. Everybody just go, what can we do now? Today they wake up and ban this. What can we do now? So we're going to change the narrative. We have to stand up. So the vision of ConsumerHallaTV is really to create an engagement platform that constantly mirrors the minds of consumers and provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria. Thus, we believe, will be forming part of that our overall vision, of creating a more caring world of consumers where businesses thrive. Please. So I think that we'll make our impact. We ask you to join us on this journey. ConsumerHallaTV will drive engagement. It will also be there to help to promote brands that are doing what is right. So we're not out to criticize any brand. Rather, we have to complement what the brands are doing, because there is no organization that or a business that was set up to fail. Nobody set up a business to fail. So there are just gaps that needs to be fixed. So together we can fix things, and together we believe that we will create the right story for consumers in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday edition of Product Review on ConsumerHallaTV. Mondays are new beginnings to get it right. I welcome you to the Monday edition of Product Review. This is where we inform potential buyers about the merits and drawbacks of products that they need to know. I am Iri Ayomikunle AK. Please note that all the reviews on this program is not based on critics, but based on transparency and functionality of product in context of what we are reviewing. In the era where the world has explored through science and technology, laptops have become an essential tool in our daily lives, transforming the way we work, learn, and communicate. And this portable device revolutionized the concept of mobility and flexibility, allowing us to have access to a lot of information, create content, and connect with others from anywhere in the world. And with the use of laptops, students can take notes in class, work on projects, have access to a lot of online resources, and also professionals can as well stay productive on the go, attending virtual meetings, responding to emails, and collaborating with colleagues. And also laptop creatives can bring ideas to life. This is used for editing videos, designing graphics, composing music, and a lot of things. Talking about laptop, it has also bridged the gap between the remote work and the traditional office settings, enabling people to work from anywhere and maintain a better work-life balance. This rise of cloud computing and online storage has further enhanced laptop functionality, allowing a lot of users out there to have access to files and applications from anywhere. As technology continues to evolve, laptops are becoming more powerful, efficient, and now is affordable, from budget-friendly options to high-performance machines. And the laptop caters to diverse needs and preferences, whether for work, education, or entertainment. I can tell you that in the world today, laptop have become, something indispensable part of our modern life. In this hand, we'll be reviewing two brands of laptops on the program today. The laptop in review are Acer Aspire Glow 15 a slim laptop, and Dell Inspiron 16 Plus 7640. I wouldn't say much about this laptop because our guest on the program today is on a standby, but I know Acer Aspire is a budget-friendly option that is very, very perfect for basic tasks like you browsing, you streaming online, and a little bit of light productivity work with adequate features. And I also know that Dell 16 Plus 7640 is a 16-inch laptop designed for content creation and productivity. It features a display of a 16-inch of intrusion prevention system, the IPS, and the liquid crystal display LCD screen with a resolution of 1920 times 1200 pixels, or 2560 times 1600 pixels, and an option high fresh rate of 120 Hz. That's quite a lot there, I must say to you, because I'm not an expert on this field. But turning to our guest on the program today, we have an entrepreneur, founder of AOL Gadget Store. He's also an IT solutions consultant to a private firm in Lagos. Olagoroye Ayomiko. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing? It's a
I'm
pleasure to be
great.
back on the show.
It's
Nice.
awesome to have you back on the program. Before we get into the discussion, all right.
Yeah.
Before we get into the discussion, can you fully, briefly, in your own view, as an expert, can you explain what Acer Aspire Glow 15 Slim laptop is all about and Dell 16 Plus is all about?
So these are great laptops, and like you said earlier on, these are laptops that that's been a go-to laptop for even people who don't want to spend too many money but want to get the best out of a laptop. So It's really really functional. It's this Aspire you mentioned in particular. It's built with the dedicated graphics, and what the dedicated graphics memory does is it helps the laptop to process graphics, motion graphics very fast, and you have a situation where a gamer wants to play a game on the laptop, and obviously you need something that's very very fast, something that's not going to lag, and this is what you get from purchasing these laptops, whether it be the Acer you mentioned or the Dell. So they are great invention, and they are really really efficient, I must say.
Thank you. That was very brief and concise. Now, in comparing these two laptop processors, how do they perform, their function, and which of the two laptops offers better performance for multitasking and demanding tasks?
Okay, I will not discredit any of these laptops, honestly. The Aspire laptop, if you are working with a, so for multitasking in particular, it's all about the dedicated, it's all about the RAM. So RAM is what makes you multitask and keep, when you minimize a application and you go to another application, that's multitasking. You have two things running on the same wavelength. So it's the RAM, it's the storage of the RAM that is making all those things seamless and possible. So if you're buying a Acer with 16 gig RAM minimum, you should really really have you should really enjoy the future of multitasking, which you mentioned, and same as the Dell as well. It's all about the RAM when you talk about multitasking. And I think you mentioned something. Can I get that again? You asked another question regarding both
I said,
comparison.
yes, that which laptop offers better performance for demanding tasks?
Okay, when you say demanding tax, definitely an high-end taxing. Maybe you are running a very high-end game that is going to take a lot of your memory, and then yeah, definitely you should be able to make do of both laptops if you have a good RAM installed on them. Both, and when you talk about processor, the Acer Expire sometimes comes in AMD processor, or they have the Intel processor. Remember last time I told you about how these processors are just cheap, right? Provided by another company entirely. It's not even Acer that is producing it, but they incorporate the chip of, some of them have AMD. The best AMD processor has been Ryzen 5, because Ryzen 5 is directly equivalent to the Intel Core i5. So AMD is a company of its own, Intel is a company of its own, and what they are just giving you is that chip to enjoy performance on either laptop. So it boils down to those processor as well. Which processor chip as the laptop itself? You can go to the IT market to get the laptop, and you should know your choice. Basically, as a consumer, you should have made research. I can't really say for certain that okay, this chip is the best, but both chips, they are efficient and they work. Yeah.
Very. Thank you so much for that delightful insight there. Thank God you made mention about RAM. In comparison, what is the impact of RAM and storage options on the overall performances between those two brands?
Okay, the impact of RAM, like I said, is very very vital, because the more you multitask, the more you need better RAM, and RAM also enables you to have speed on your laptop without having any situation where your laptop is lagging. So, like I said, both brands, they come up with whatever components they want to put in it. It's a thing of generation. If you have a generation that is more recent, you can have an higher RAM. Um, some recent generation, they basically even focus on the processor chip. If the processor chip is very very fast, you can even pay less attention to the RAM, honestly. So it's really two-sided. You can't just say it's the RAM that's going to make my laptop fast. If your processor is not fast enough, so it's a two-way thing, like I said. So if the RAM has 32 gigabytes and the processor is lacking behind, if you are using a very bad processor, you're not going to make best of that your RAM. Your RAM is just going to be there useless. Do you understand what I'm saying? So processor is the backbone of how your RAM is going to be efficient for you. So you have a good RAM storage. You have to check in for that processor as well. I mean processor cheap as well. So we know i5, i7, i9. These are
Which
high
you made
end.
mention of.
Exactly. So these are high end processor. So if you have those processor with fast processor speed and the RAM is even decent. 8 gig, 16 gig RAM is decent, honestly. So that's the impact. The processor makes the RAM efficient. That's what I'll settle on that. The processor makes the
Thank you
RAM.
for that. Thank you for that one. Now let's look out for the display features. Talking about display features in terms of the brightness, the colors, which of these two brands has a better display in terms of display pictures? The brightness, the color, the accuracy, the resolution, and how do the screen sizes, comparing them together, how is the screen sizes of these two brands?
So the screen size is basically key. So a 16 inches screen display. So I want to take it from the top, which is the screen size. You know, the screen size is how big it is. Obviously, the inches is how big your laptop is, right? So for somebody that is a content creator or a video editor, you obviously need a good screen size, right? So both of them have basically the same 15.6 inches, which is approximately 16 inches. Both of them have basically the same screen inch. Then you also mentioned about the efficiency of the screen. Am I correct? Something about the screen
Yes,
display,
yes, about the screen.
color accuracy, color accuracy, and the screen. Yeah, so the color accuracy or the color accuracy or the brightness of the screen is also very, very, very key. Dell has some ultra sharp display series that are very, very clear. They are very definitive, and when you have displays like this, of course, if you're a graphic designer, video editor, you are living in heaven already. If you are enjoying something
Wow.
like that, so so yeah, for Dell, I would definitely say Dell has better display accuracy. But Acer is perfect for gaming. So you have a higher refresh rate when you're using the Acer. So the Acer Aspire gives you almost I think about 144 hertz display rate. So which is very fast, it makes your gameplay very, very smooth. So ideally, when you're a gamer and you're using the Acer Aspire, you are enjoying a very good refresh rate as a gamer, right? But when you talk about the screen resolution, color sharpness, Dell does it better. Dell
Dell
does it
does it
better.
better. Okay, I'm very sure our viewers can know that Dell does it better in terms of that. Um, while answering the question in accordance to your response the other time, you made mention of designing. So let's outlook now on the design and build quality. Which of this laptop is more portable and lightweight, and how do they build up the quality and materials of these two brands?
Okay. So I don't know because when you look at when for me personally, when you look at some Acer designs, they are very, 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 very rugged looking because this Acer Aspire you mentioned in particular, the build quality is like sturdy materials, like sturdy quality that these are laptop builds that once it hits, maybe you are moving with your laptop and it hits the wall, it still gives you that same. So the sturdiness is there. The sturdiness is there. I don't know. Maybe because they know that it has to be sturdy. So they are very, very sturdy. The hinges of those laptops are very, very strong. When you look at both of them, I'm not even going to discredit any of them. So Dell also does that gives you that sturdiness. Acer Aspire gaming laptops also gives you that sturdiness. And once you have a sturdy laptop, it's not a laptop that there are some laptops that the hinges are very thin framed, like the thinner ones. But these ones are the hinges alone before it can fail on you. It's going to be maybe after 5 years, 7 years. So their designs are very, very aggressive. They put aggression into those designs that they look so sturdy, you know and the build quality it's built to last for ages. Like I said earlier on, you can see a game. Gamers would relate if they had bought if they are using one of these laptops. Some of them they've been using it for years and it's still even though you can see some wear and tearing on the body, but the build is still compact. It's not loose. There's no part that is loose. So yeah, that's why people would prefer. So it's a tough choice for me to say, okay, this is the one that has the most aggressive design or the most sturdy, but the both of them pass mark.
Both of them
Both of them.
passed. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you are going to give them a pass mark, like a pass rate, so which
Mhm.
one is going for which one is going to be on 100, and which one is going to be on a, let's say, 50?
50 no now. So okay, let me just give Dell another pass, like overall. Maybe because I have a soft spot for Dell and the way they build their product to be very, very sturdy. I'll give it to Dell then, if you want me to make a choice.
All right, thank you. Now let's move to reality. You, as a gadget guru and an IT personnel, you know so well about this. If I know these two brands, the Dell and the Acer, are so good for editing and content creation, but if a popular content creator walks up to your store and asks you that, okay, which one should I go for between those two brands? In an honest review, which one would you recommend?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So content though. If you had asked me about a gamer, I would have said a gamer should go for an Acer because of how
Actually, I'm
Acer
still
will
coming
give
there. I'm
you
still coming to that gamer line. I'm still coming there.
maybe I just so if you are a professional content creator, you come up to me and you want to make you make that choice. I'm going to recommend Dell for you because Dell will give you color accuracy. I mentioned it earlier about
You already
how
said you have a
Dell
soft,
builds good.
you already said you have a soft spot for Dell.
So that's why I wanted to. So that is why I wanted to mention. That's why I wanted to mention gaming experience. For a gamer, I would say go for Acer because of the refresh rate. They will build fast refresh rate, so you won't experience lagging. If you're a gamer, you won't experience anything called lagging with the Acer series. But if you want to talk about the a content creator, you are working with videos now. You have short videos. Your videos are looking clear enough, maybe with your camera, professional camera, and you want to export it into your laptop. You want a laptop that is going to give you the same quality of what your camera has taken, right? And your editing has to be top notch. When you're saturating, when you're doing the saturations, when you're doing the color grading, you want it to be as perfect as possible. So the feedback you are supposed to be getting from your laptop is supposed to be as accurate as possible. So go choose a Dell if you're a content creator. If you're a gamer, choose an Acer.
All right, a content creator should go for Dell. Thank you for being specific about that. And now let us be realistic. Something that is very, very essential to look out for when you go to the market to go for system or you want to purchase a system is the battery life, because the battery life is very, very essential. I've seen people that they've bought a system and in no time they're about to give it 2 or 3 weeks. They're always complaining about the battery. Which laptop between these two brands, which of them have a longer battery life span, and how do the power saving feature works in the review of these two brands of laptops?
Okay. So I don't want to so for the battery usage, there's something we have different kind of batteries. We have the lithium batteries, and most of these laptops are built with the lithium batteries, to be honest. And they are built to. Are you there?
I am with you. Please go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they are always built to last, they are always built to last for a long period of time. Both of them have their, they go through battery test as well, right? And this is really, really, really dicey because I know when people come to the market, most times for the price, they're always going for UK used, which is foreign used. So if there's a way, if you are buying from a professional, if you are buying from, if you, or even though you are not buying from a professional, if you know how to do some checks, there's a way you can check battery, do your battery check on these laptops. You see the battery health. There's some battery health is common to iPhones, but you can also check battery health on your laptop, right? Maybe one of these days I'm going to do a demonstration, or if I have the opportunity. So if you do that battery check, you see the battery health of that laptop, because obviously it is used. So it's either the battery health has significantly dropped or is still there. So, but when we now say, okay, let's now say you're buying brand new, obviously nobody has used it, right? The way Dell manufactured it, the battery is retained. There's nothing of that somebody has used it, nothing of such. So you should consider Dell for battery longevity. Dell for battery longevity, and it also has fast fast charging capabilities. Their chargers wattage are very very high for Dell. Do you understand? So imagine you charging your laptop batteries as fast as possible. You don't need to be charging it too frequently. You can do a charge, one single charge lasts you for 8 to 9 hours. Do you understand what I'm saying? So your charging, charging also affects battery life. So imagine you're just charging twice in a day. You see, that is really, really, really cool. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're able to purchase a brand new Dell and you charge fast, you are charging quick charge features. You charge the next time you have to charge is like in the evening, you charge in the morning, in the evening. Those things
Well,
sustains your battery life. Yeah, and it goes a long way. Do you understand? But Acer, like I said, gamers go for Acer. And gamers, they have to plug their laptop all through because gaming consumes a lot of battery. So the fact that you are charging and charging and charging, it reduces the battery life of that Acer laptop. So that's what I'm saying.
We appreciate your course,
Yeah.
bringing on the table this beautiful Monday edition of Product Review. And I must tell you, because while answering the question the other time, you made mention of you demonstrating the battery line. And trust me, I can tell you that of course, you'll be opportune, and I would love to see that demonstration in review. Now let's talk about this laptop, which offers the better value for money, considering its features and performance. And as well, let's compare the price
Um,
rates. And as well, let's compare the price rates between these two brands. Which one is on the expensive side, and also which one is, affordable.
so ASAS, because of how ASAS are really, really there's some. The last time I mentioned demand and supply, right? And Acer laptops are really, really, gamers know what they are looking for. They know the specification that is going to make them enjoy their gameplay. So, in the context of the Nigerian market and UK used price range, the Dell are less. They are affordable. So, but when you're now looking out for an Acer, let's say an Acer Aspire with Core i9, gaming build, 16 gig RAM dedicated, you're going to spend a lot of money. You are going to spend a lot of money. So if you are ready to spend the money, so
Can you be fixed on the
because
amount,
that
please? Can you be fixed
and
on the
you'll be spending 1.6 to 1.8 million upward for a good Acer Aspire laptop. Do you understand what I'm
That's a
saying?
whole lot.
So it is because these are not just a little. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are not
It's not a
just
child's play.
small. No, it's not a charge, obviously. And if you're not going for the brand new, you'll be spending close to 2 million plus 5. Do you understand? These laptops are gaming laptops, like I said, and well, so people that buy it, they know. Anybody that's currently watching should relate. Maybe you use
So
it or
people
you've
that
heard the price before. Yeah, that
so so that means, let's say people that buy it are the real Odogu banana. Can we put it that way?
they are, they are, they are,
Okay.
they are, really are, really are. But for the Dell, obviously, you could always get there's always something for your pocket with Dell. There's a way they are always some products that they are packed for to fit in. So it just fits in all the brackets. You can get that Dell for maybe 900, a million plus, a little bit over a million. So Dell is really affordable in the market
All right, sir, that's a
than the
very
Acer.
insightful one, Mr. Olagoroye Ayomiko. Thank you so much for bringing your expert, a view on the program of product review this beautiful Monday afternoon. Before we go, let's have your parting shot. And what do you have to say to the listeners
So
at
yeah,
home?
oh yeah, listeners at home, it's always good. It's always a good thing to invest in a laptop that's going to fuel your hustle. I always say it. Um, Laptops technology has been built for a better living, right? So gadgets, once you are buying it, make your research and always follow Consumer Hala TV to
Mm,
get undiluted reviews
God bless you
when
for
you're
saying
getting
that.
undiluted reviews from platforms like this. You shouldn't make a mistake of investing wrongly into a gadget. You would definitely have the information to have an informed decision. So once all Nigerians are on this path, there shouldn't be a regret when you're following a particular brand or you're following a particular product to purchase. Yeah. So that's all I can say.
Thank you so much.
Always,
Thank you
always,
so
always
much
make
for being on the program. We appreciate you. Thank you. Please do well to enjoy the rest of your day.
and you too. God bless you. Yeah.
God bless you. All right, so this is where we end it all on the program this beautiful Monday afternoon on Product Review. Another beautiful edition. We'll be back on Wednesday. A very big thanks to our guest on the program, Ola Goroye Ayomiko. Thank you so much. And he said something which I'll be reviewing on for just a second or a minute. He said, but before you buy any gadget at all, make sure you make research about it. You making research is something premium and it's something vital you shouldn't throw away. And he also said that you should follow ConsumerHallaTV. That is more than enough motivation to end the program this beautiful Monday afternoon. I said earlier on that it's a new week. Mondays are fresh starts. Please do well to make your week profitable by engaging yourself with something that will be useful to you, and also by engaging yourself watching all content of ConsumerHallaTV. I am Ire Ayomekunleke. Good afternoon and have a very beautiful week. Good afternoon and welcome to Product Review on ConsumerHallaTV. This is where we inform potential buyers about merits and drawbacks and features of products. I am Ire Ayomekunleke. Please note all review on this program is not based on critics but based on transparency and functionality of product in context of the various features. There's so many products from various industries to review, but we are limiting our wings within the fashion industry. Apart from the fact that the world evolves around people who love fashion, fashion is a sparky and ever-evolving industry that encompasses clothing, accessories, and lifestyle. It's a form of self-expression which allow individuals to showcase their personality, culture, and value through their attire. Fashion influences and reflects the societal trends, cultural heritage, and personal identity. However, today designers continually push boundaries, experimenting with innovative material styles and technologies. Fashion in Africa, especially in Nigeria, is a dynamic blend of traditional and modern styles, reflecting the country's rich cultural heritage and evolving urban influences with current fashion trends. For example, Adire, which is a traditional Yoruba textile art from the southwestern Nigeria, and batik, which is also a traditional textile art from the originated Indonesia, but has been adopted and adapted in various cultures, including in Africa. Today's edition on Product Review, we'll be having a blend of two different fashion products between these clothing materials, Adire and batik. Joining me on the conversation is an Adire artisan whose work and words will spark the conversation on today's edition of Product Review. She's also the CEO of Mo Planet Adire and Batik. It's a pleasure to have you on the conversation, Miss Morenikeji Ahmed.
Nice to.
It's a
Good
honor to have
afternoon,
you on the program.
everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure.
Uh,
Good
it's a pleasure.
afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon. Let's start with this. You as an experienced professional who specializes in adire making, can you start by giving us some comparison in the sense of quality and craftsmanship of adire and batik products?
Okay. Um, I'll say Adire is all about things. Why batik is about waxing. What I mean by waxing and what I mean by Adire tying. Adire, as it is being called in Yoruba, it is tie and dye. You have to tie it before you dye it. So let's give a reasonable definition. Adire or tie and dye is a means or a process whereby fabrics are being manipulated through colors and chemicals. And we use by the use of rope, thread, or anything that is a form of rope to tie around the materials to create a pattern in order to resist dye from penetrating after when the cloth has been put into a dye bed. So the pattern, the rope creates the pattern on tie and dye. While the batik is a process whereby cassava flour or wax is being used to resist the dye whenever the fabric is being put into a dye bed. So what I mean in essence is that to for clothes to resist fiber, the thing is just for us to create a pattern which the dye, when you are putting the fabric into the, is not going to, the dye is not going to cover that pattern. That's the use of cassava flour or wax. It is of two ways that you can do batik. It's either by stamping or by stencil, writing with your hands. So that's a free handwriting or a stamp design. So it can come in different shape, it can come in different ways. But while using your stencil to write, it is by your handwriting on the clothes. That's batik. Why tie and dye or adire is the use of rope, any form of thing that you can use to tie around the fabrics before taking it into the dye base to create a pattern.
All right, that's interesting. The batik is done in two ways, just like you said, it's handwriting and the other way. And you said adire or tie and dye is done with rope or cotton. That's a beautiful, insightful updates there. Which product shows more attention to details in its design and production between these two product, adire and batik?
I think get that.
Okay, which product shows more attention to details in its design and production between adire and batik?
Batik is just like I'll say batik because batik is just like a drawing. You know, when you see a drawing, it's so attractive and it can be used to create different kind of design on fabrics because it is a free hand design. It involves different kind of colors. I'll tell you that it's batik. It's batik that creates clothes. It involves different kind of color, different kind of processing before one kind of fabric can hold. So it is very